Hello, hello, good afternoon, and welcome along to the FA Community Shield between Arsenal and Manchester City, the top two teams in the country, battling it out today. Just before we go over to Paul James at Wembley, we got a skull flash. Actually, we just come on there. Cooper has just pulled one back for Leeds, so it's Leeds 1, Cardiff City 2. That will please a little bit our boss and backer, Mr. Ross Burney, who's actually up at Ellen Road today, cheering his boys on. So Leeds 1, Cardiff City 2. Bowler and Bogo had put Cardiff 2-0 ahead in that game. Anyway, we're going to concentrate now for the Community Shield. It's as I say, it's between treble winners Manchester City and second place team Arsenal. Now, traditionally, it's between the FA Cup winners and the Premier League champions, but because City had won both competitions last season and the Champions League, it's now decreed that, obviously, when this happens, it's decreed that the second place team takes the FA Cup winners' place. And this format has been in place now for the 49th year. It'll be the 50th year next year, and the 50 years since that infamous game between Leeds United and Liverpool at Wembley, when Kevin Keegan and Billy Brenda stupidly got themselves sent off that day. Liverpool won it on penalties, incidentally. But hopefully we won't get any fisticuffs here at Wembley today. Plenty of players, high on skill. And let's check in on Paul James. And it's nice to be back with him again. And it's also nice for me to be back on TCR again for a third season. Thank you for having us for another season. So let's cross over to the commentary box where Paul James is waiting to bring us the two lineups. Paul?
Thank you, JB. Good afternoon, everybody. Yes, this is the curtain raiser, the traditional curtain raiser for the season. And the first job we have this season is to go through the starting lineups. Starting with Arsenal, managed by Mikel Arteta. Aaron Ramsdale is in goal. Jurien Timber, 40 million from Ajax, is at left back. Centre back, Gabriel and William Saliba. Ben White at right back. Thomas Partey in the holding midfield role with Declan Rice. Declan Rice is 116.6 million euro signing from West Ham United. The attacking midfield three are Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, Bukayo Saka, and Kai Havertz, 75 million euro signing from Chelsea. For Manchester City, well, they have Stefan Ortega in goal, Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and Kyle Walker make up the back four. And Mateo Kovacic signed from Chelsea for 29.1 million euros. Rodri and Jack Grealish, Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva, and Erling Haaland make up the front line for Manchester City. Of course, Manchester City have spent 90 million euros on Josko Gvardiol from Leipzig. He does not appear in the squad today. The substitutes for Arsenal are Kieran Tierney, Emil Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah, Jacob Kiwior, Rob Holding, Takahiro Tomiyasu, Leandro Trossard, Fabio Vieira, and Matt Turner, who's rumoured to be on the move to Nottingham Forest. For Manchester City, it's Calvin Phillips, Aymeric Laporte, Kevin De Bruyne, Sergio Gomez. Ederson is the backup goalkeeper today. Phil Foden, Cole Palmer, Rico Lewis, James McAtee, and of course Manchester City are managed by Pep Guardiola. Interesting game today, JB. Should be interesting to see what happens.
Yes, thank you very much, Paul. And if you're wondering what the noise is, well, our studio today is quite busy. So I'm in the studio this afternoon, and we're now... so apologies if you could hear any background noise. Well, the Community Shield is always a great occasion. It's usually the traditional start to the football season, but there has been Football League games played over the weekend. Earlier, just bring you up to date with the scores from them games, just to illustrate. As I said, Leeds and Cardiff going on right now, 2-1 to Cardiff, but Leicester launched a late comeback. Matt Fasden had put Coventry ahead after 47 minutes in that All Midlands derby at Leicester, but then Keenan Dewsbury Hall hit the brace 10 minutes, 77 minutes, and 87 minutes to give Leicester a winning start there. But some great results yesterday. Plymouth winning, Watford winning as well. Stoke getting 3 points. I think this year the Championship is going to be very competitive. And there's one more game to go this weekend in the Championship, Sunderland and Ipswich. That kicks off at 5. And we'll keep you up to date with that one this afternoon on the TC Hub elsewhere on the air here at the Community Shield. The tension is, the atmosphere is building. We'll bring you everything that matters. And as regards the game in a few moments' time, the fans are ready, and once the players are in the tunnel, Paul James will be able to take over commentary of the game. So we're all set to go. As I said, the tension is building here at Wembley. It should be an absolute crackeroonie of a game, this one. And we're looking forward to bringing you live on the TC Hub. Nice to have you back with us. Earlier today, you may have heard Nicholas Jones call a fantastic shock result for Sweden, who have knocked out the USA out of the Women's World Cup. The holders are out, and what an opportunity lies for the Lionesses, and you'll be able to hear them early next week on the TC Hub, and we'll bring you full details of that and upcoming Premier League games during the show this afternoon. But the teams, I can tell you that Arsenal are now in the tunnel. Aaron Ramsdale starts, as Paul pointed out earlier. Looks like Arsenal will take this a lot seriously. As he said, the regular league goalkeeper Edison is amongst the substitutes today. And, well, the Man City mascots waiting for their heroes to lead them out. Arsenal already there. Will that be psychological? Will that be a psychological fit? I wouldn't have thought so on a day like today. It's all about, I mean, the Community Shield is a competitive game and it's all right. But basically, the gate receipts go to the different footballing communities and charities. Of course, this used to be known as the Charity Shield, but they changed the name. I still obviously say it's a Charity Shield, but it's always the Community Shield. There's Stefan Ortega there, the reserve goalkeeper. And Kyle Walker is the Manchester City captain this afternoon. And the teams are now out in the tunnel. And a great atmosphere building. So without further ado, let's get over to the commentary box at Wembley and join your match commentator for today as we return you to Wembley and to our match commentator, Paul James.
Thank you, JB. Welcome once again, everybody. The players are coming out now. And we are expecting this to be an absolutely wonderful occasion. Already, you can see the stadium looks actually really quite full. A week before the league season, and these two teams, these two giants of English football, are about ready to go head to head in the curtain raiser for the Football League season. Just taking a look at what each team has coming up. As a start to the season, well, Arsenal have a pretty tough one. They've got Nottingham Forest at home, and that can't be ruled out either. They lost at the City Ground, of course, which cost them the title last year. Crystal Palace away, Fulham home, Manchester United at home, Everton away, and then the North London derby at home. Manchester City, of course, have a combination of league and cup games. Burnley away, they start off with, and then, of course, they have Sevilla in the Super Cup. Newcastle United at home, Sheffield United away, and Fulham at home, West Ham United away. I'm just going to run through the teams with you one more time, and starting with Arsenal, Aaron Ramsdale, the back line, Jurrien Timber, Gabriel, William Saliba, and Ben White. The holding midfielders, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice. The attacking midfielders are Gabriel Martinelli, Martin Odegaard, and Bukayo Saka. And Kai Havertz, surprisingly, is in that number 9 role. Now, he's often played in that number 9 role for the national team, without success, really, in the most part. So I guess Arsenal believe that surrounded by Martinelli, Odegaard, and Saka, we can bring out the potential of this exciting young player. For Manchester City, Stefan Ortega in goal, deputising for Edison. Manuel Akanji, Ruben Diaz, John Stones, and Kyle Walker at the back. Mateo Kovacic and Rodri are in the holding midfielders role. The attacking midfielders are Jack Grealish, Julian Alvarez, Bernardo Silva. Erling Haaland is the sole striker in the number 9 role. Well, we all know what he's capable of. 55 goals last season. Our referee today is Stuart Atwell. He's from Warwickshire and he's age 40. His last Wembley appearance was the 2021-2022 League Cup final between Chelsea and Liverpool, which Liverpool won 11-10 on penalties. I'm sure JB and myself will remember that very, very well. Last season, he made 29 refereeing appearances in ranging from European competition to domestic cup competition and league. He showed 104 yellow cards, 4 red cards, and awarded 6 penalties. And he, of course, will be joined on the line by Tim Wood and Dan Robertson. The 4th official is John Brooks, and Michael Salisbury and Neil Davis are in VAR. Well, what a wonderful and exciting start we're going to have to this new season. For myself, I've personally missed the Football League season over the summer. Just looking at the record between these two teams, they've met each other 208 times in all competitions. Arsenal have won 98 of them. Manchester City have won 65, and there have been 45 draws. The first meeting took place on the 11th of November 1893 in League Division 2 at the Manor Ground in Plumstead. 4,500 people watched Woolwich Arsenal beat the then Ardwick 1-0. And the news events of the time from such a long time ago. On March the 4th, Grover Cleveland was inaugurated as the 24th US president for the Democrat Party. That was his second term. And on December 24th, Henry Ford completed his first useful petrol gasoline fueled engine. And more recently, of course, it's been a very one-sided affair between the two sides. Manchester City have won 17 out of the last 20 meetings with the Gunners, 17 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw. So the City have been very much a bogey team for Arsenal, and well, they have been for most teams. And looking at City's lineup, it's hard to imagine that this team won't go on to win the Premier League again and most of the cup competitions. So the players now just gathering at the centre circle. They're clearing off all of the decorations that they've had on the pitch. And we're about to get ready for this one and what is expected to be a very exciting affair. And looking now at the two lineups just popping up on my screen, no additional changes. Very surprised that Manchester City have decided to not play Josko Gvardiol on the bench at all. He at 90 million euros is one of the most expensive defenders, not but one of the most expensive defenders in footballing history. The referee now just monitoring the players just to get all the remaining barriers and various different decorations off the pitch. Both sides just doing their final preparations now, gathering together in a circle. Both sides will want to win this. Traditionally, as JB mentioned, it's known as the Charity Shield. Was formerly known as the Charity Shield, and it was usually more of a friendly encounter. In fact, at one stage, if the game finished tied, the Charity Shield was actually shared between the two teams. Today, there is no extra time. If it's tied, it will go straight to penalty kicks. And Arsenal in their traditional red and white shirts, white shorts and white socks. Manchester City in their traditional blue shirts, sky blue shirts, white shorts, sky blue socks. Arsenal will be attacking the goal to our left as we get a look at the some of the fans there. Arsenal about ready to get this game underway. So we're about to get ready and get the footballing season underway here. See Martin Odegaard at the centre circle there. He's about to get us underway. The referee blows the whistle and we are ready to go. And it goes all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale, who launches the ball downfield. And it's long and just won there by Kai Havertz, but he was not able to follow up on it with Martinelli. City clear away there with Rodri. It's won at the back, though, and cleared away by Gabriel. Thomas Partey is dispossessed in midfield. And now City can break forward. Over on the far side is Grealish. Grealish dispossessed that time. And it goes all the way back to Manuel Akanji. who drops the ball back to John Stones and back to the goalkeeper. And, Stefan Ortega playing today rather than Ederson. Here is John Stones again. He plays the ball forward and just manages to keep the ball under control. There is Rodri, and he's just shielding the ball away from Gabriel there. Is Rodri fouled? The referee said yes. And so the first free kick of the game given by our referee, Stuart Atwell, today. And of course, we do have VAR, and I'm sure many of you will be joining me in hoping that VAR has no involvement in this game whatsoever. And it's at the back there with Diaz. Diaz drops it back to Stefan Ortega. Ortega just holds the ball up, taking his time there. No rush for him. He's just plays the ball out wide there to Ruben Diaz again. Diaz back to Ortega. Ortega, City standing off. Patient build-up is usually what you expect from Manchester City. And here's Stones. He's got Kyle Walker alongside him. He decides to go on the far side to Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Rodri. Rodri in that holding midfield role. He's got Kovacic alongside him. But here's Rodri. He slips the ball to Mateo Kovacic. Kovacic on the far side to Akanji. Akanji drops the ball back to Diaz. Diaz goes all the way back to Stefan Ortega once again. Stefan Ortega clears the ball downfield. It's longer this time. The head is won by Haaland, but it only finds Thomas Partey. Partey just drops it back into his own half to Declan Rice. And he goes all the way back there to Aaron Ramsdale. And Ramsdale gives the ball to Gabriel. And he gets the ball back. Ramsdale looking like he's going to go long this time. It's a long goal, a long kick right over the halfway line. Just flicked on there by Kai Havertz. But he only finds Ruben Diaz, who heads it right back to Stefan Ortega. So a patient build-up really by both sides early on in this game. Nobody really taking any real risks at the moment. Here's Kovacic for Manchester City. Kovacic, midway inside his own half. He's moving forward now, and he just drops back. Gives it to Ruben Diaz. Over to Manuel Akanji on the far side. Back to Diaz. And Kovacic just drops it back to Diaz. And Diaz, and it's good work by Manchester City, just knocking the ball around now. And it's with Manuel Akanji over the halfway line. Is he fouled there? Yes, it looks like he was by Odegaard. And it's going to be a free kick. And Manuel Akanji is already asking the question of why shouldn't there be a yellow card? I've never really been a big fan of players going up to trying to get players booked. And I just think it's rather such a cheap and awful thing to do. But it's going to be a free kick to Manchester City now, just inside the Arsenal half of the field. And it's just given there by Stones but it's gone back to Diaz. Diaz inside the centre circle. And he's just looking for options here. Ruben Diaz. He's really patient build-up by City. I think City as well, they're able to do this patient build-up. There's a lack of press on these players. And I think that a lot of the time, Manchester City have the time and the space to do things that they want to do. And here's Rodri. It then goes back to Stones, who goes back to Stefan Ortega. And Ortega now will start from the back again. He's got John Stones alongside him. He's got Ruben Diaz there with him. He's just taking his time. Finds Kovacic, and he goes all the way back again to the goalkeeper. Ortega now is well outside of his penalty area. Havertz choosing not to put him under any pressure. It's now with John Stones. Stones gives it back to Diaz. Diaz midway inside the Manchester City half. He goes long over on the far side to the overlapping Akanji. Akanji's got space in front of him now. He cuts into the penalty area, gets the cross in, and there's a header by Alvarez, and it just isn't able to direct it towards goal. It's launched back into the box again to Jack Grealish, but it's cleared away. The header was just away from goal there, but it was a first sight of goal for Manchester City. And here's Kovacic. Kovacic again. And it's with Rodri. Rodri, ball is played over down this near side, and it's found Bernardo Silva. Silva tries to cut inside the penalty area. Bernardo Silva now is inside the Arsenal penalty area. He's got Kyle Walker alongside him. Walker tries to get the cross in. It's blocked by Saliba. But it's back now with Bernardo Silva again. Silva drops it back to Walker. Walker to Rodri. Back to John Stones. It's Manchester City now pressing Arsenal inside their own half of the field. And here's Kovacic. Kovacic tries to find Haaland. The ball breaks loose, but it's cleared away by Gabriel. Well, he gets the ball over the halfway line, and clearing up at the back here is John Stones. But someone's just lost their boot there. But the first real sustained pressure by Manchester City. They're coming again. Here's Kovacic. Manuel Akanji to Grealish. Grealish goes all the way back to Diaz. Diaz inside the centre circle. And just over the halfway line to Kovacic. Kovacic puts the ball out of play rather sportingly. We're just going to see that it looks like there might be somebody down there. Or it's actually, yes, it's Timmer there who has lost his boot. And we're just going to have a slight stoppage in play. So while that's going on, you are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. We've got some comments in the comment section. Mike Hardiman says, hope you're ready for a long day, Paul. We might be here this time tomorrow with the new injury time rules. And he agrees with me that the players complaining should be booked. And I absolutely agree with you there, Mike, totally. And it's now with Ruben Diaz. Diaz plays the ball forward, but it's intercepted by Martinelli. And Arsenal now have the ball in midfield with Martinelli, who's dispossessed quickly. And over the halfway line now here is Alvarez. Is Alvarez impeded? The referee says yes by Thomas Partey. It's going to be a free kick to Manchester City. And a yellow card shown to Thomas Partey very early on. It's his first foul. I'm not sure that I necessarily agree with that. But perhaps it was considered that it was a professional foul. So we're going to have a yellow card for Thomas Partey, first one of the day. Grealish, over by the touchline now. He's under pressure by two Arsenal players, one of them Bukayo Saka. The ball is knocked out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal. Jack Grealish felt that throw-in was Manchester City's. 22 minutes of injury time at Northampton yesterday, according to Mike. We will see a lot of that, and yes, that'd be unfortunate. I think that's really where we're almost getting to the point of insanity there. Really, the throw-in is taken quickly, and it's long, and it's picked up there in the middle by Alvarez, but Alvarez only manages to find Timmer. Timmer drops it down to Martinelli. Now he's got Timmer up with him as Martinelli. Martinelli holding the ball up. He's got two Manchester City players around him. One of them is Bernardo Silva, but Martinelli does well. He keeps possession of the ball. He finds Gabriel. Gabriel drops the ball all the way back there to Saliba. Saliba plays the ball forward to Odegaard. Odegaard drops it back to get to Ben White. But here is Bukayo Saka now up against Manuel Akanji. Good work by Saka. He gets into the penalty area. He goes down, but there's no penalty there. And good work by Manuel Akanji defensively, actually. Saka was just breaking away from him. He's so quick, is Saka. So fast. But Akanji did well to keep up with him there. And it looks like the ball did come off Akanji last, but it seems to be a goal kick. Just confirmation of that Thomas Partey yellow card. And Mike just breaking down those injury times there. 8 in the first half, 14 in the second. Goodness me, it's insane. And it's back there with Alvarez to the goalkeeper. And here is Stefan Ortega, again, just taking his time, not under any real pressure from Kai Havertz. And he just plays the ball to John Stones. It's slipped back to Rodri here. Rodri gives the ball back to Stones, midway inside the Manchester City half of the field. And it's John Stones now, just approaching the centre circle. He's looking at what options he has. He gives the ball to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker slips the ball down this right-hand side to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva gives the ball back to Kyle Walker. Walker drops the ball back to John Stones. Stones over on the far side to Manuel Akanji. Under pressure, Akanji just drops the ball back to Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz. This is, again, what we see a lot from Manchester City is possession football, keeping a hold of possession. They very rarely lose it, and when they do, they usually get it back very quickly. It's a very interesting style of play. And here's Rodri. Rodri plays the ball down the far side here to Kyle Walker. Walker drops the ball back to Stones. Stones now over the halfway line is Rodri. Rodri plays the ball long on the far side, and picking up here is Bernardo Silva. He's got some space in front of him. Bernardo Silva pulls back. He's looking to get into the penalty area. He drops it back there to Walker. Walker plays the ball across, but it's a disappointing one, and only finds Martin Odegaard, who clears the ball forward. And Kai Havertz is chasing this one down now. Havertz holds, Martinelli holds the ball up, and he plays the ball to Odegaard, but that's a good interception that time by Jack Grealish. And City win the ball back. Here's Rodri again in the centre circle. Gives it to Walker, who drops it back to Stones. Rodri. Well, we've got 12 minutes gone here in the Community Shield. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0 here at Wembley Stadium. It's a beautiful afternoon. Here is Bernardo Silva now. Bernardo Silva tries to find Haaland, and it's hacked away there that time by Saliba. And into the Manchester City half of the field, and it's picked up by Ruben Diaz. And he's in the centre circle now. And Mike Harneman has just said Port Vale was 6-0 down and then had to suffer 11 minutes injury time. It's all really rather pointless, isn't it, Mike? It's, all this injury time, I think it kind of stemmed from the World Cup, really. And we seem to have now brought it into the English game, which I'm not too positive about, to be perfectly honest. I think if you can justify it, certainly, but I think if you're just kind of making a guess based on how many times you think the ball has been out of play or how many times a player has stayed down a little longer than he should have done, I think it gets to the point of ridiculousness. And here is John Stones. Stones. Over the halfway line is Alvarez. Alvarez, long ball over to the far side to Jack Grealish down the left-hand side. Grealish just drops the ball back there to Akanji. Akanji tries to play the ball through to Alvarez, but Arsenal intercept, but it's won back by Erling Haaland. And now here it is on the edge of the box. A shot is just wide. Oh, it's a good effort. And the shot came in from Rodri from the edge of the penalty area. It just bounced loose to him. And it's just wide. It had Aaron Ramsdale scrambling to his right-hand side. But it just goes wide. And it's the first shot in anger in this game. And it comes from Manchester City, not surprisingly. But it must have taken a deflection. We do have a corner, and Jack Grealish is going to outswing this one. It's cleared away there by Saliba, only as far as Kyle Walker. Walker launches the ball into the box and headed away there by Saliba again. And it's Bernardo Silva down on this near side now to John Stones. Stones will just drop the ball back to Bernardo Silva, who returns to his right-hand position. Gives the ball to Alvarez. Alvarez drops the ball back. And it's back with Rodri. And Rodri gives the ball to Stones. Stones Rodri does a quick 1-2 with Kovacic. And City again just knocking the ball around. It's given to Jack Grealish this time. He's got Ben White in front of him and also Saka. He decides to go back rather than trying to beat the two. And here's Stones, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. Stones gives it to Rodri. Rodri drops the ball back. And it's with Walker there. And it's back with Walker again in the centre circle now. And it's Kovacic out onto the far side. And Jack Grealish has got Akanji overlapping. He just drops it back to Kovacic again. Kovacic has got two Arsenal players surrounding him. And it's Rodri, gives the ball to Akanji. And Grealish drops the ball back to Akanji, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. Here's Diaz, gives the ball to John Stones, and Stones, it's good work by him. He just drops the ball back again to Diaz. And here's Kovacic. Kovacic just drops the ball back to Akanji. Akanji has got Grealish in front of him, but he decides to go back to a Kovacic as Manchester City really do have a monopoly of possession right now. They've held the ball now for the last 3 minutes. And here's Walker. Walker drops the ball down this near side to Bernardo Silva. Silva just drops the ball back to Walker, and Walker gives the ball to John Stones again. Stones, has he been? Oh, he almost was. Well, he was dispossessed at that time now, and Arsenal can move away with Kai Havertz. He's having his shirt pulled there. That's going to be a free kick to Arsenal, and the foul there by Roderick. So Mike says it's interesting that Havertz got the nod ahead of Nketiah. I wonder if that means we're going to play without a recognised striker for a bit until Jesus is back. Yeah, that was interesting because he does seem to be holding that number 9 role, Kai Havertz, and he's often been played in the national team by Hansi Flick in that position, and he's often done it without success, it has to be said. So I think it's interesting, and just a yellow card there has been flashed to Mikel Arteta, presumably for arguing with the fourth official. Fourth official, of course, is John Brooks. So a yellow card for Mikel Arteta. And he just kind of laughs it off, but he'll have to be very careful now. Here's Thomas Partey, who plays the ball forward looking long there for Bukayo Saka, but it's way too far ahead of him, and it goes through to Stefan Ortega in the Manchester City goal, and Manchester City will start again. Arsenal are going to have to be very careful that they don't give cheap balls away, given the fact that Manchester City really do monopolise the possession in the way that they play. So Arsenal are going to have to be very, very careful today that they don't give away cheap possession. And here's Manuel Akanji, midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. Kovacic plays it forward, and it's another shot this time, and it's by Alvarez, but it's well wide, and it's going to be a goal kick. Alvarez did not get his foot on that. It was a good 25 yards out, but I think he skewed that one wide, and it's going to be a goal kick. Complaining that Rodri wasn't booked, I do think Partey's booked. Partey's booked Rodri should be just for consistency. Yeah, I mean, well, I think we could. I think, Mike, we could definitely get into an all-day discussion on referee consistency because there's certainly none of it. I think we've already seen some of that in the Championship this weekend, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal. Down on his haunches there is Declan Rice. He's just been, he was, looks like he was just body checked there and took him down. So it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal, and it's not really to take him from the right position, really. But here's Partey. Partey under pressure by two Manchester City players, and he's dispossessed. And here's Jack Grealish now, as City are back in possession of the football, midway inside their own half. And it's John Stones. And he gives the ball to Ruben Diaz. Diaz drops the ball back to Stefan Ortega. And Ortega is just looking at what options he has available. And this time he goes long. He's going to be looking for Manuel Akanji there. Akanji heads the ball onto Grealish. Grealish trying to hold the ball up. Manuel Akanji has the ball again now, attacking Ben White. Can he get the cross in, Akanji? He does. Haaland's there. Silva's there. Comes to Silva on the edge of the penalty area, but it just slips away from him. And Gabriel Martinelli now picks up the ball and drops it back to Gabriel. And Gabriel gives it back to Aaron Ramsdale very awkwardly there, but Ramsdale deals with it in his usual calm and composed manner. And the ball is now cleared forward, and it's Kai Havertz holding the ball up well. Havertz drops the ball now down to Gabriel Martinelli now. It's Arsenal's chance to attack the Manchester City goal. And that is Timmer. And Timmer is dispossessed quickly, though, by Manchester City. And it's now back with Bernardo Silva. And here's Kovacic. Erling Haaland. Haaland drops the ball back there to Kyle Walker, who goes back to Stefan Ortega, as Manchester City quickly crushed that Arsenal attack. And this is the one thing about Manchester City. The players are, they work so hard. They get back collectively, defensively. Whenever they're not on the ball, their defending is absolutely incredible. The way that they get back, the way that they close players down collectively, they almost hunt in packs when it comes to getting the ball back. They're incredible to watch. And that's coming from someone who is not a Manchester City fan by any stretch of the imagination. Mike has just given us a rumour, but just a moment. Is Erling Haaland. He's dispossessed, though, and Thomas Partey can now move away with the ball. Hearing David Raya to Arsenal is close for 30 million, meaning Turner will be off to Forest for 7. Now, that's I just want to point out that's what Mike has said. And Mike is very reliable normally, so it'll be interesting, because I think that'll be relief to many a Nottingham Forest fan that I could name. To be honest with you, they've been looking for a goalkeeper quite desperately before the start of the season. Of course, they open up against Arsenal. And Mikel Arteta is opening his mouth to John Brooks again, and he needs to keep quiet, or he's going to have to leave the technical area. Here's Gabriel. He gives the ball to Saliba. And Saliba just drops the ball back. And it's back with Gabriel. And here's Timmer. Plays the ball forward. It's just headed on by Bukayo Saka. But he heads the ball out of play. And it's going to be a throw-in for Manchester City, midway inside their own half of the field. And it's back with Ortega now. And it's now with Rodri. Rodri just gives the ball to Kovacic, who knocks the ball to John Stones. Stones over the halfway line now. Stones, he finds Kyle Walker down this near side. And he's under pressure there by Timmer, but it's dropped back by Kyle Walker to Stones. And it's now with Rodri. Rodri just finds Kovacic, and Kovacic gives the ball to John Stones again. Stones just thought about the cross for a moment, but dropped it back to Rodri instead. Rodri goes across the far side to Akanji. Akanji finds Jack Grealish. Grealish now, he's got a bit of space in front of him. What can he do with it? Grealish. Oh, he just shown a little bit too much of that to Declan Rice, but City still maintain possession. And it's with Kyle Walker, who drops the ball back here to Diaz. Diaz to Kovacic, looking for Erling Haaland, who seems to be marshalled quite well by Gabriel. And Haaland's trying to win the ball back, but he pushes over Partey as a consequence. And it's going to be a foul against the big Norwegian. And we're going to see a free kick now for Arsenal. Thomas Partey on his feet. The free kick is midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. We've had 24 minutes gone here at Wembley. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. And we're going to see just how this game is going to unfold. We haven't seen a lot of attacking play from Arsenal. And we're hoping to see a little bit more of that as the game goes on. Manchester City have done most of the pressing. Mike says we've grown into this match. City haven't been as dominant in the last 5 minutes. That's true. I think the attacking play from both sides has not really penetrated either. Here come Arsenal now. And the ball is squared across to Havertz. Havertz, can he turn? He gets a shot in. That's a good save. And well, the shot comes in again from Martinelli, but it's blocked. And that's the first real attempt at goal by Arsenal in this game. And it came to Kai Havertz. Well, it started on the far side there with the ball getting into the penalty area. Kai Havertz turned and got the shot away. And it was Ben White who got into an advanced position, gave the ball to Kai Havertz. He was just turning and off balance, which made it a more comfortable save for Ortega. And Martinelli tried on the rebound, but it was blocked, in fact. And it was blocked by John Stones, I believe. Yeah. with the chest. He had his hand behind his back, so no question of a penalty there. And 25 minutes gone, and that's the first real attempt we have seen by Arsenal in terms of an attacking sense. And it's going to be a throw-in now for Arsenal, and it's going to be taken by Timmer. And Timmer just drops the ball back. Jurien Timmer, one of Arsenal's new signings this season. Timmer was brought in from Ajax for a total of 40 million euros. And it's now picked up by John Stones midway inside the Manchester City half of the field, and he is fouled by Kai Havertz. And Kai Havertz will be shown a yellow card as well. That is the second Arsenal player to be put into Stuart Atwell's notebook on 26 minutes. Yellow card. And we're going to have a free kick now for Manchester City. Mike says the officiating in this game has been poor. I certainly think both yellow cards for Thomas Partey and for Kai Havertz were very harsh, to be perfectly honest. It's there were fouls, but they wasn't yellow card worthy in my mind. And it's back with Stefan Ortega. He's midway inside the Arsenal, midway inside the Manchester City half of the field. He's being put under no pressure whatsoever. And he's just been able to hold the ball up. He's been able to take his time and determine what he wants to do. He just slips the ball to Ruben Diaz, who gives the ball to Akanji. Akanji almost dispossessed there, but Kovacic helps him out and picks up the ball. And he tries to find Alvarez, but that's a good touch by Saliba to stop the ball, to stop that attack. And now Arsenal can break out. And here is Timmer. Jurien Timmer drops the ball back to Gabriel. Across to Saliba. Saliba. Midway inside the Arsenal half, it's Odegaard. And it's back there with Ben White. But now Arsenal breaking forward again with Thomas Partey. And here's Timmer now breaking forward for Arsenal. Midway inside the City half. Declan Rice gives it to Thomas Partey. Partey to Odegaard. Odegaard over on the far side. Ben White is overlapping, but it's held up. And here is Saliba. Saliba plays the ball over on the far side there. And it's back with Partey. Partey plays the ball on. It's knocked on looking for Martinelli, who seems to have switched from the left to the right side, but it's gone out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. And Manchester City will have the throw-in level with their own penalty area. And they go all the way back to Stefan Ortega. We've had 30 minutes gone here. You are listening to Alternative Commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/The Commentary Hub. We have 16 minutes to go till half time here in this Community Shield 2023, and it is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Both sides have had a sight on goal, but there really hasn't been much creative play by either side really to penetrate the opposition. And there's Walker. He gives the ball to Diaz. Diaz and drops the ball back to Walker. Walker goes back to Ortega, and we have Manchester City again, just maintaining possession in their own half of the field. Of course, Manchester City open up against Burnley on Friday, and they have not played really a full-strength team today. They've certainly rested Ederson, and of course their new signing from Leipzig, Guardiola, and there is risky play by all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale there. He just allowed the ball to almost get to the goal line before he cleared it, and it's going to be a free kick here to Arsenal. And you just have a look at this again. Maybe a miscontrol actually by Aaron Ramsdale. Closing in was Erling Haaland. If you're Aaron Ramsdale, that's definitely not what you want to see. And Mike says he thought that was going to end up in the in the back of the net. Well, you have to say it was a pretty scary moment for Aaron Ramsdale. Here's Timber now. Timber is dispossessed, and City maintained possession, but it's ran out of play by Alvarez. He just wasn't able to keep the ball in play there, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. But a yellow card is being flashed here. I'm just trying to see who that is flashed at. It looks like it's Alvarez for maybe kicking the ball away. So Alvarez is the first Manchester City player in the referee's notebook. And I have to be honest, he did kick the ball away. So I suppose if you're applying the rules, but I think Stuart Atwell here has been pretty card happy and rather unnecessarily in this first half. It's back with Aaron Ramsdale now. Ramsdale plays the ball forward there, looking for Declan Rice. Rice just drops it back to Timber, and Timber clears the ball. It's a good ball, actually, to find Thomas Partey, but Partey was unable to control it. And it's won back in the midfield there by Bernardo Silva, who goes back to Stefan Ortega. Ortega's ball there really, really put Rodri in trouble there. When he played the ball to him, really shouldn't have done, because Rodri had an Arsenal player closing him down there, and this has resulted now in a corner to Arsenal. And well, that was unnecessary by Stefan Ortega, and Bukayo Saka comes up to take the corner now for Arsenal. Let's see what this leads to. And it's going to be in-swung by Bukayo Saka. And Arsenal players are in there. Gabriel, Havertz, Partey, Rice, Saliba, they're all in there. It's swung in and it's just headed up into the air by Akanji. Alvarez trying to clear the ball up, and it's hacked away finally by Kyle Walker, only as far as Bukayo Saka, who gives the ball back to Saliba, who's under pressure there, and he's forced to go back into his own half and go all the way back to Aaron Ramsdale. Bernardo Silva starts closing him down. It's a long clearance by Ramsdale looking for Kai Havertz. The head is won by Kyle Walker. He finds Martin Odegaard in the middle of the park. And here's Thomas Partey. He gives it back to Odegaard. He's just holding it up in the middle of the park. He's got 3 Manchester City players surrounding him, and he slips the ball to Timber. Timber down on the right, down on the left-hand side to Martinelli, back in his more favoured position. Martinelli cuts back. He's just inside the penalty area. Martinelli played across here to Partey. Partey, it's with Gabriel now. Gabriel, a bit of sustained pressure by Arsenal. Declan Rice down to Martinelli. Martinelli trying to cut inside the penalty area and get away from Walker. He gets the cross in, but it's hacked away by John Stones and behind for a corner. And Arsenal going to have their second corner of the game now, as they've started to put a bit more pressure on City now, as Mike rightly says. It's going to be a corner. And just over on the far side, I'm just not quite sure who it is. It can't quite say for any certainty who's taking it. Oh, yes, it's Gabriel Martinelli. And with on 34 minutes, what can Martinelli do now? He swings it in. It's a disappointing one. It swung too high and too far away from the Arsenal forwards and goes behind for a goal kick to Manchester City. And Mike says they're forcing a few mistakes. I think that's it. And I think that is one way I think teams should probably try to attack Manchester City more, is to press them a little bit more, put them under pressure a little bit more, and see if they can force some mistakes out of some of these players. I find that so far, until that point, that Arsenal have been fairly standoffish. And coming forward now is Diaz. Diaz plays the ball over to Akanji, and the ball is out of play. It's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal. That's a poor pass to Akanji, really. But the throw-in now to be taken on the far side. And as we look at Mikel Arteta, he's just looking at what options he has available in this game. Thomas Partey plays the ball forward, chasing that one over on the far side is Bukayo Saka. He's got Akanji in front of him, gets in the penalty area, does Saka with a shot, and it whistles away from Stefan Ortega but it goes behind, and it's going to be a goal kick. Just looking at this, this is a wonderful little bit of play by Bukayo Saka. He's such an exciting player to watch. Cuts inside and he tries to get a shot away. I think he just wasn't able to get his foot around that shot as much as he would have liked. And it goes behind. It'll be a goal kick. And the Arsenal fans getting very excited, as we've seen Arsenal as an attacking force now a little bit more in these last few minutes. And over on the far side there is a Kanji for Manchester City, as Arsenal now starting to press City a little bit more. And Ortega now being closed down by, and the mistakes are being forced, really. It's given the ball away again, and it goes out of play this time. Thomas Partey was unable to find Bukayo Saka this time, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. But Arsenal now just starting to press some of these City players, especially the goalkeeper, and they're forcing some mistakes. So let's see if Arsenal can maintain this. Here's Kyle Walker coming forward. Walker just holds the ball up and he drops it back to Stones. And he's just looking for options available. He's got Ruben Diaz alongside him. And patient play by Diaz. It's just outside the centre circle, and he slips the ball to Rodri and gets the ball back from him. And just looking at the last few meetings between these two sides, it's just been dominant. Manchester City 5-0, 2-1, 1-0, 3-1, and 4-1. And for Arsenal, I think if they for them, I think if they get a victory here today, it'll mean much more than just the Charity Shield, or the Community Shield, I should rather say. Here's Ben White. Ben White just gives the ball to Saka on the far side. It's got a Kanji and Grealish in front of him. He drops it back. It's Odegaard. And it's given back to White. White gives the ball back to Saka. It's got a Kanji in front of him. Saka gives the ball to Odegaard, who was so impressive last season, Martin Odegaard. I commentated on a number of Arsenal games last season, and Martin Odegaard just blew my mind with some of the goals that he scored and the way that he played. Here's Saliba. Mike, yes, I'll come to your comment in just a moment, but I think you are right. Here's Saka. Ben White. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard gives the ball to Gabriel. Gabriel, he drops the ball down this near side to Martinelli. He's got Kyle Walker in front of him. Martinelli drops the ball back into the centre of midfield. So yes, I think the last time we beat City was in the FA Cup. Yeah, I think that is correct based on my research yesterday. Only 2 wins in 20 for Arsenal against Manchester City. It's a wretched record for the Gunners. Here is Timmer. Timmer drops the ball down this near side to Martinelli. Martinelli pulls it back to Timmer. Back to Gabriel. Gabriel slips the ball forward to Havertz, and Havertz putting Diaz under pressure, but Diaz gets a second bite to the cherry. He only finds Martinelli, though, as Arsenal put on the pressure again. Here's Declan Rice. Rice over on the far side to Ben White. White, it's out there to Bukayo Saka. Akanji and Grealish in front of him. And it's back with Odegaard, who drops it back to Ben White. He gives it to Saka. Odegaard again. And he plays the ball across to Gabriel. Gabriel. And just over the halfway line here is Saliba, who gives the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard trying to play in Saka, and he's got behind the defender. Saka pulls it back to Havertz! Good save by Stefan Ortega. Well, his fellow countryman stood up to Kai Havertz there and made the save. But one of Arsenal's best chances, and now is Erling Haaland on the break for Manchester City. He's just holding the ball up. He's looking for support. Well, that was the best opportunity of the match, I think, for both teams, for Kai Havertz there. The finishing wasn't there, really, but it was still a good save by Stefan Ortega. It's down this near side to Bernardo Silva. Silva cuts inside. He's got overlapping Kyle Walker. Is he going to use him? Chooses not to. Drops the ball back to Kovacic. Kovacic, it's Rodri now on the edge of the penalty area. He's just looking for some space. And he finds, good goes down there is Bernardo Silva. No foul by the referee, and Arsenal can break with Timmer. And overlapping here is Kai Havertz. Havertz just pulls the ball back and holds it up well. Got another comment in the comment section, and Mike says, got to be taking those chances against a team as clinical as City. Agree with you, Mike. That was definitely the best chance of the game for both teams, I think. Ben White gives it to Saka. Saka to Odegaard. Odegaard drops it back to the centre circle. We are inside 5 minutes left in the first half. And it's still Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Chance has been to the premium really in this game. But Kai Havertz definitely having the best chance. And Thomas Partey. And it's just dropped back to Ben White, who goes all the way back to Saliba. Saliba back to Gabriel. He's got Timmer with him, but he decides to go to Partey instead. Partey gives it back to Gabriel. This time he does go to Timmer, Gabriel. And Timmer just cutting into the centre of the field. And he drops it back to Gabriel. And, well, it's back with Saliba now. And as we look towards the end of this first half now, it has to be said that the ball is played long this time, looking for Timmer, and it's too long for him. It goes all the way through to Stefan Ortega. Creativity and chances have been at a premium in this first half. I think Arsenal have kind of come out in their shell as the game has progressed in the last sort of 10, 15 minutes or so. Manchester City, well, they've had their usual patient build-up, and they haven't been able to break down Arsenal yet in this first half either. I think Arsenal have defended very, very well and really kept Erling Haaland very, very quiet so far, it has to be said. And here's Bernardo Silva. Silva just trying to get away from Martinelli. Turns away from Martinelli, just Bernardo Silva, but he's not able to get past Timmer, but the ball bounces back to Bernardo Silva. And he gives it to Kyle Walker. Walker finds John Stone as City once again looking to put a bit of sustained pressure on that Arsenal defence, but instead they go all the way back to Ruben Diaz and ultimately back to Stefan Ortega. Excuse me. So Stefan Ortega now, he's got the ball midway inside his own half. And here's Kovacic. Kovacic tries to play the ball long, but it's blocked by Partey. But fortunately for Manchester City, it bounces for Rodri. Rodri tries to go over. Oh, he tries to loop Aaron Ramsdale. And, well, he wasn't a million miles away, was he? That was a really audacious effort from just inside his own half. It just looped Aaron Ramsdale. And Ramsdale was desperately scrambling back. But it just clears the crossbar. And, well, that was a little bit of excitement to get everybody back on their feet as we just look at that chance by Kai Havertz. Looks like it took a deflection on the shot as well from Ruben Diaz, but ultimately a good save by Ortega. 90 seconds plus whatever the fourth official, John Brooks, chooses to add on. And as Michael alluded to earlier, that could be just about anything. And here's Ortega. He's just got some options there. He plays the ball long, does Ortega, and it's good work by Timmer just heading the ball away from Bernardo Silva. But Martinelli has lost it, and here's Alvarez now. Alvarez cutting into the penalty area. The ball is played across, and a good piece of defending by Saliba there because Erling Haaland was waiting behind him to put that ball in the net. And here's Diaz now. Diaz gives the ball to Stones. Stones down this near side. It drops it back to Stones. Stones pulled back to Alvarez. Alvarez back to Diaz. And Grealish. Grealish tries to find Diaz again, but Alvarez, tried to find Alvarez again, but he lost control of the ball and it was cleared away. But City have possession again inside their own half of the field. And it's Rodri, just over the halfway line. And he gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. Silva down to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker attacking that Arsenal defence, but he just ran the ball out of play. And it's going to be a goal kick. So, fortunately, we have a reasonable amount of injury time. It is 3 minutes added on by our referee, our fourth official, John Brooks. As we just look again, as that ball across there that Saliba was intercepting, just behind him, of course, was the predatory Erling Haaland, just waiting to put that ball into the net. It's going to be the goal kick now with Aaron Ramsdale. As we see on the scoreboard there, the 3 minutes of injury time that have been announced by John Brooks. It's cleared downfield, and it's just headed on by Grealish, but it only finds Martinelli. Brilliant challenge by Kovacic, but again, it only finds an Arsenal player, this time in Odegaard. Odegaard drops the ball back to Gabriel. Gabriel just drops the ball back there to Saliba. So Arsenal being pressed back a little bit here. Here's Saliba, and ultimately goes back to Aaron Ramsdale. Ramsdale, long ball downfield, and just up there is Akanji, wins the ball ahead of Saka, but the ball is headed out of play by Akanji, and it's going to be a throw into Arsenal, almost on the halfway line. And Mike says clearly he wants to get back to his Sunday roast. Yes, why not? Who doesn't want to get back to their Sunday roast, Mike? I mean, come on. You know, we don't have Sunday roast in Canada, and I miss it. Here is Saliba. Saliba drops it back to the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale. And Ramsdale, who's just got the ball on the edge of his penalty area, and he plays the ball to Kai Havertz. Havertz turns, or tries to at least, and it's dropped back to Saliba. Saliba plays the ball forward, looking for the chase in Martinelli, but City win the ball back, and it's now back with Stefan Ortega. And we're inside the last minute of the 3 of injury time, the minimum amount that's been added. There may be more added, of course, by our referee, Stuart Atwell. That remains to be seen. Here's John Stones. And it's played forward to Kovacic. Kovacic trying to walk inside that Arsenal defence. And, well, it took some rather solid defensive work by Saliba to stop Kovacic there, as he'd gotten pretty much well inside the penalty area. He was surrounded by 4 Arsenal players. And it took Saliba in the end to basically some very smart play defensively. And he actually shielded Kovacic from getting to the ball, so he didn't even knock the ball out of play. So it's a goal kick. So smart play there by William Saliba. Kovacic was threatening to get inside those 4 Arsenal defenders there. And the goal kick to be taken by Aaron Ramsdale. It's downfield. We have played the full 3 minutes, and the referee, Stuart Atwell, blows for half-time. It is 0-0 at halftime. We really have lacked goal-scoring opportunities. A couple of efforts from the outside of the penalty area, one by Alvarez and one by Rodri, coming close, but no real attempts on goal by City, really. And for Arsenal, Kai Havertz having their best opportunity, forcing a save from Stefan Ortega, which was perhaps the best opportunity of the match. But it's half-time here at Wembley in the 2023 Community Shield. It is Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Back to you, JB.
Thank you, Paul. Welcome back to the studio in Lancashire. Thank you very much indeed. So no goals here at Wembley, but I think the referee's been a little bit gun-ho, considering it's a pre-season game still, technically a pre-season game, and the referee just needs to be a little bit more lenient, I think, with the bookable offences, really. That is for sure. But a decent first half, which really came to the boil towards the end. A couple of great opportunities, and that would have been a picture goal if Rodri had scored there. So 0-0 then here at Wembley, as we now break away for the last 15 minutes. Apologies for the noise. So let's just check up on all the other scores that have been coming in. Of course, we've got Championship football back this season, and we've had some terrific results yesterday across the Football League. Yesterday, no more so than Barnsley 7, Port Vale 0. That was a terrific game, wasn't it? We've had 2 terrific ones here this afternoon down at the King Power Stadium. Coventry City and Leicester in that M69 derby, and it's a fierce derby. People forget that this is a fierce derby game for all sorts of different reasons. But It was 0-0 at half-time, and then Carl McFadden scored the opening goal for Coventry after 47 minutes. Half an hour later, Dewsbury Hall equalised, and then 3 minutes from the end, 87th minute, got the winner. And Leicester City, who were Community Shield winners, let's not forget, 2 years ago, start live in the Championship with a 2-1 victory over Coventry. So a really good performance from Leicester City. Enzo Macarese is now the new manager there. Disappointment for Mark Robbins. And of course at Ellen Road this afternoon, some game down at the Cardiff City Stadium. Some game down at Ellen Road, I should say, against Cardiff City. As Cardiff went 2-0 up at halftime. Josh Bowler got the first goal. And then Errol Bullitt is the new Cardiff City manager against Daniel Parker. It was Josh Bowler and Ika Ogboy giving the Bluebirds a 2-goal cushion at halftime. But then back came Liam Cooper 5 minutes into the second half, and into the 5th minute of stoppage time, Criancho Somerville, a Burnley target no less, equalised to make it 2-2. And Leeds United start life back in the Championship with a point against Cardiff City from 2 goals down. So a nice and a good point there for Leeds when it looked as if everything was lost at half time. So, and of course, Sunderland and Ipswich kick off in 5 minutes' time. And the teams are in for that one as well. So Ipswich back in the course in the Championship after several seasons away. It's a real, that once upon a time was a top flight game. Elsewhere, in the Women's World Cup, well, the big story there in the round of 16 really was in the Women's World Cup. And Nicholas Jones brought it to you on the TT Hub earlier on. Was Sweden 0, United States of America 0. The holders are out. Sweden winning 5-4 on penalties. So no fairy tale ending for Megan Rapinoe, the greatest ever female footballer of the last sort of the Lionel Messi of her generation. But she has won 2 World Cups, but I'm not sure that was the way she wanted to go. She actually missed a penalty in the shootout. Elsewhere, in the other last 16 game play today, Holland are through. Ward and Bernstein with a brace as they beat South Africa 2-0, and they now play Spain in the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup. And you remember, you can hear the best of the fixtures now all the way through the finish. And of course, tomorrow afternoon we've got England against Nigeria. Tomorrow morning, I should say, with Russ Burden, we've got England against Nigeria 8. And I should make a note of the kickoff times here. British time, we go on the air around about 8:20 in the morning tomorrow. 8:20 in the morning. So if you want to listen to our coverage of England against Nigeria tomorrow, 8:20 a.m. tomorrow morning is the time to do it. So if you were planning on getting up early or not bothering with a line, come and join us at 8:20 tomorrow morning. Russ Burnham will guide you through that round of 16 game between England and Nigeria. The other game tomorrow is between Australia and Denmark. That kicks off at 11:30 a.m. in the morning. And then the round of 16 concludes with Colombia against Jamaica at 9 a.m. on the Tuesday, and France against Morocco at noon on the same day. And then, of course, the quarterfinals, Spain against the Netherlands, that's at 2 a.m. and Japan against Sweden at 8:30 a.m. And then the quarterfinals, England will be involved in one of the Saturday quarterfinals as well on the 12th of August. The final itself, incidentally, is on Sunday the 20th, and the third place match is played on the 19th of August as well. So the third place match will be covered by Russ Byrne, and then Nicholas Jones will be doing his first Women's World Cup final, and we wish Nick on the 20th of August with that. And also later that day we'll have Aston Villa as well against Everton with me. So elsewhere in the world of sport today, as we're just waiting for the teams to come out for the second half, Caroline has just been on. She says, thank you so much for this. Unfortunately, I'm concussed at the moment and very happy to find a way to enjoy a match without looking at the game, without looking at the screen. Caroline, please subscribe to any of our channels. You are welcome. You're listening to this game. I don't know where you're listening from, but we're thank you on YouTube. But thank you very much for tuning in and listening to us there. Just to remind you that you can listen to us through these platforms, TC Hub, TC Hub 2, and JB Sports and Storm FM are back as well, providing commentary of content for the coming season. And yeah, it's nice to have you with us, and you can join in the chat as well. Keep your comments clean, and we're still a family program. So thank you, Carolyn, for your wonderful comment. It's nice to have you with us. Right. Right. So elsewhere in the world of sport today, we've got some hundreds news to bring you. Let's look at cricket. The Oval. Well, what a turn up for the Bucks at the Oval today. The Oval Invincibles. The Oval Invincibles were 80 all out. Yes, 80 all out. This is the women's 100. And well, what about that? 81 for 7 in reply. They won. The Welsh Fire only won by 3 wickets in the end. It was unbelievable that. Oh dear me! It was just one of those games where you've just got to look at it and think, what happened there? The Welsh Fire. Well, the Oval Invincibles. Look at this. Winfield held the top scorer on 42, and then Bates 5. Caspi 3, Van Gagart 2, Cat 3, Schofield 5, 2 batters out for naught, 5 extras, 80 all out. Ooh, DMB. And 3 wickets for Ismail as well. 2 each for Ellis and Griffiths. Very, very. That was a very good spell from the Welsh Fire. And then in reply, they made a bit of a meal of it. The 2 openers went very quickly for no runs. Windsor went for outscoring as well. And in the end, Griffiths and Bryce saw the Welsh Fire win it home. And as I said, they won by 3 wickets. Really and at the moment in the men's competition, in the other game, in the women's competition, Severn Brave beat the Northern Superchargers by 5 wickets. The 100 Superchargers had made 100 for 8 off 100. Severn Brave only needed 87 balls to reach their target, so they won with actually 13 balls to spare there in that game. So Severn Brave winning quite comfortably, as it turned out, by 5 wickets. There's a game going on in the men's competition between the Severn Brave and the Northern Superchargers. And as things stand, so the Northern Superchargers, what a good score this is. 201 for 3 off their 100 balls. And the top scorer was short for 73. Harry Brook, fresh from England duty, fresh from being an England Ashes hero, although we didn't win the Ashes, of course, but he made 63 not out. And 201 for 3. Banton, of course, got 44 on that. Tom Banton, 44 there. Terrific effort from the Northern Superchargers men. And then now currently the Severn Brave 80 to 3 now after 65 deliveries. And Vince went out, was the last man out for 33. DePoy and Tim David are out there. Tim David's a big hitter. I should know. He's played for Lancashire. He plays for Lancashire, of course, or he did play for Lancashire. He's not out too, but so still a long way to go in that one, you'd think. But I think 203, 1 for 3 will still need some getting. Severn Brave, remember, need 122 from 35 balls. It's a tall order, but with Tim David out there, it's possible, but they're going to leave themselves. I think they might leave it a little bit too late, if I'm being honest. So that's what's happening in the cricket. Let's just check what's happening in the One Day Cup as well. There's 4 games going on at the moment in that one. Leicestershire have beaten Kent by 264. Leicestershire made 380 for 5 in their 50 overs. Kent skittles out in just short of 24 overs for 116 day, and Leicestershire win that one by 264. Derbyshire against Glamorgan, that's still going on at the moment. Derbyshire made 298 for 8 in their 50 overs. Glamorgan in reply, 192 for 2, and they've still got quite a number of overs to get the runs required. 106 now needed to win from 19 overs. They've just gone on to 193 now for 2 Glamorgan. Northamptonshire against Sussex. Sussex made 247 from 45. This is a rain-affected game. Northamptonshire currently are 127 for 5 in reply. They need another 116 runs to win from the last 19 overs, and they've got 5 wickets in hand. And this is, of course, on the Duckworth-Lewis method. And then down at Taunton, Somerset against Worcestershire. Somerset, 287 for 9 when they're 50 overs. Worcestershire in reply, 191 for 5. So still that game in the balance there down at Taunton this afternoon. So anything can still happen down there at Taunton. So that's the cricket sorted out. So we're just waiting on the teams coming out for the Community Shield. So plenty of cricket going on at the moment, plenty of football. Of course, we've had the rugby union yesterday as well as the nations now warm up for the World Cup in the Scottish Premiership. Hibernian 2, St Mirren 3, O'Hara, Arzana and Grieve for St Mirren. Adam Lafondra, former Rotherham player, of course, and Deutsch with a goal for him. But it was Grieve who got the winner on 89 minutes in a terrific match down up at Easter Road. Hibs 2, St Mirren 3, and then earlier. And then, of course, we had that shock at Rugby Park yesterday when Kilmarnock upset Rangers by a goal to 0. But at the moment, and of course, we've got the Netball World Cup final coming up from Cape Town this evening, and we'll try and keep you updated during our Community Shield coverage today. But at the moment, at halftime, it's 0-0 between Manchester City and Arsenal, the two biggest teams in the country, two best teams in terms of that, and of course, plenty of good sport coming your way, good football as well. As I said, we will have England tomorrow for you, and we're looking forward to bringing you that one live. So really looking forward to doing that for you. So a good, decent first half. It was a very good first half, but still, I think there's a lot to come. I think a lot to come here in the second half. We're still waiting for the teams incidentally to come out on the field. And whilst we do that, let's just check more about the yesterday's fixtures and pick out one or two standout results from the Championship. Middlesbrough 0, Millwall 1. That was a shocker. Plymouth beating Huddersfield. Stoke knocking 4 past Rotherham. But the main big result there, I would have to say, Watford 4, QPR 0. Watford off to a very, very good start indeed. But the result of the day, I thought, in the Championship was Barnsley 7, Port Vale 0, and Devante Cole scored a hat-trick in that game, son, of course, of Andy. Terrific result there. Elsewhere, Blackpool winning in League 1, Blackpool, Bolton, all off to good starts. And in the League 2, Accrington won very comfortably. Morecambe won a terrific game up in Morecambe. The Colchester Swindon game was postponed yesterday, incidentally, due to a waterlogged pitch. Anyway, the substitutes are heading out. The players are now just about to head out in a second or two. We'll be crossing over the pole in just a second, but just to let you know, really, that this Community Shield being sponsored, of course, or being made aware, there is awareness that the Jeff Astle Foundation is very much part of the Community Shield, and I know his daughter has been campaigning hard against dementia in football, and we wish her very well with that as well. So there is a lot of seriousness out there, but a lot of cheerfulness. I just hope the referee just keeps a lid on the strictness of the game and let the game flow, because I felt during the first half, watching it as an observer, I felt that the referee could have been a little bit more lenient and just let things go there. I thought some of the bookings, especially for the Arsenal manager, were a bit harsh. But anyway, the players are back out on the field. Well, Manchester City are anyway. Arsenal taking their time getting there. Just a quick reminder to anyone who's just joined us, it's 0-0. We've had one or two good opportunities. Kai Havertz, this is probably the best one of the lot. And just to remind you, before we go back to Paul for the second half, that if it ends a draw at the end of 90 minutes, 0-0, 1-1, 2-2, whatever, 3-3, or even 4-4. Well, Trevor will be open 4-4 if he's listed. If it ends a draw, whatever the score, then we go straight to penalties, no extra time this afternoon. So the players are back out onto the field. Let's rejoin Paul James for the second half.
Thank you, JB. So, yeah, the second half has just got underway, and it's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal, just down by the far side there. Throw-in to be taken quickly by Saliba. It goes out of play again. This time, Timmer is going to take the throw-in, I think. He seems to be warned by the linesman not to take any further steps, but he does anyway, and has stolen a good 10 yards there. And throws the ball forward. It's headed on by Declan Rice. And it's won back by Manchester City with Akanji. Akanji inside the centre circle goes all the way back to Stefan Ortega. Ortega clears the ball downfield, but it's not the best clearance. It goes out of play for a throw into Arsenal, taken quickly. And here's Declan Rice. Drops it back there to Gabriel. Saliba. And again to Declan Rice, back to Saliba. He's just taking his time here now. And here's Thomas Partey, very deep. And he drops it back to Declan Rice. We're just going to run through the two teams quickly for you. There's been no changes in the second half. For Arsenal, Ramsdale, Timmer, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Partey, Rice, Martinelli, Odegaard, Saka and Havertz. For City, Ortega, Akanji, Diaz, Stones, Walker, Kovacic, Rodri, Grealish, Alvarez, Silva and Haaland. So no changes by either side at halftime. I think City, who of course, from what I've seen so far, really yet to get any kind of an effort on goal. And to be honest, that's a testament to Arsenal's outstanding defending in this game so far. Here's Stefan Ortega, the goalkeeper now. He just plays it to Kovacic. Kovacic just drops it back on the far side there to Stones. Stones just plays it to Walker. Mike wonders if we'll see Emile Smith-Rowe in the second half. Well, quite possibly. I felt we didn't see enough of him last season, Mike, to be honest. Here's Rodri, and the ball is over to Akanji on the far side. And it's now with Jack Grealish now, threatening the Arsenal penalty area. Jack Grealish drops it back to Manuel Akanji. Akanji holds the ball up and he gives it to Rodri. And Arsenal just pressing City back now. And Kovacic goes all the way back into his own half to Diaz. Diaz again plays the ball across to Kyle Walker. And Walker just goes all the way back to the goalkeeper. And yes, he spent most of last season injured, yeah. Just to take the time just to wish Carolyn all the best in your recovery. We're glad you're enjoying the game. Glad you can join us today. Get well soon, Carolyn. And here's Rodri. Rodri just inside his own half. Gives the ball to Kovacic. Kovacic drops it to Manuel Akanji. Akanji midway inside the Arsenal half. He tried to find Grealish there, but a good interception, and Arsenal can now come away with the ball. It's played forward over the halfway line. Saka tries to bring the ball down, but Akanji wins the ball off him, and City get the ball back, because here's Rodri now over the halfway line. Rodri, he's got making a dash on the far side there is Kyle Walker. An inspired run. Can he get the cross in? He holds the ball up against Martinelli. And he drops it back to John Stones, back to Rodri. And turning there is Bernardo Silva. That's a good pass down this side to Jack Grealish. Showed a little bit of it to Ben White, but he gets the cross in, does Grealish. And it's headed away by Martinelli, but not totally. Again by Thomas Partey. And Bukayo Saka now plays the ball to Odegaard. Odegaard, beautiful turn on Kovacic. Wonderful play by Odegaard. And he plays the ball now to Kai Havertz as Arsenal on the counter-attack, but it has been shut down by a wonderful challenge on Kai Havertz. And we'll just kind of see who that is. He's gone down now. I just couldn't quite see who that was that made that challenge on Havertz. We'll just take another look. This should answer the question. It's a wonderful challenge. Yes, Diaz. It's a really good challenge, and it just stopped that Arsenal counter-attack right in its tracks. And now, what's the referee doing now? He seems to be having words with the goalkeeper, and then he hands the ball to the goalkeeper, and we start again from scratch. So Stefan Ortega has the ball now. And he gives the ball to Ruben Diaz. Diaz plays the ball over on the far side to John Stones. John Stones storming over the halfway line. Is under the watchful eye of Kai Havertz. And good work there by Ben White to win that ball back. But it's given away again to Kovacic. And here's Rodri. Rodri, City streaming forward now. And here is Alvarez. Alvarez gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. And the ball is played across the penalty area. That is a wonderful interception by Jurien Timmer. Just stopped the cross from going across the penalty area there. Another fine piece of defending. And it's going to be at the cost of a corner. But really shut down a very effective City counter-attack there. So it's going to be a corner to Manchester City, and you've got Haaland in there, you've got Rodrigo in there, you've got Ruben Diaz, Stones, all kind of working between them. Arsenal laying up a line in front of them. The header is in, and it's a fine save. And the header by Stones. It was at Aaron Ramsdale, but right at him, but it was still a smart reaction save. Yes, the header there by Stones. He got a lot of power on it, really. And you can see again here, he's under pressure and he does well to get the header on target. But smart reaction save by Aaron Ramsdale, the England international. And there's John Stones again. And while Martin Odegaard is currently down injured, receiving treatment, you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partners for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1. And you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. And we do have a brief stoppage at the moment while Odegaard is receiving treatment. What a player Martin Odegaard is. Like last season, just amazing. You can't take it away, whether you're an Arsenal fan or not. 15 goals and 7 assists last season in the league, along with Gabriel Martinelli's 15 goals and 5 assists and Bukayo Saka's 14 goals and 11 assists. There's 44 goals between them there. They've all been extremely effective, and Martin Odegaard has been incredible to watch. Of course, they do have some injury troubles today, do Arsenal. Mohamed El Neni is still out, so is Gabriel Jesus. Albert Sambi Lokonga, who's been linked with a move to Burnley on loan, is currently out with a muscle injury. Florian Balogun has come back from a loan, and he's got an ankle injury right now. And Reece Nelson is also out with a toe injury as we are about to get the game back underway. And here's Kovacic for Manchester City. Kovacic gives it to Bernardo Silva, who drops it all the way back to Ruben Diaz. And now Alvarez for Manchester City as Odegaard is waiting for the referee's signal to come back on. So far, he's not allowed him to. Kovacic. Odegaard is waving his arms, wanting to come back on, and the referee, Stuart Atwell, is ignoring it. Now has finally acknowledged it, and here's Grealish. Grealish on the edge of the area, gives it to Akanji. Akanji whistles the ball across the penalty area. Good interception by Saliba, and it's hacked away, and another City attack is shut down, and it's going to be a throw-in just by the halfway line, which John Stones will take. He's actually handed the ball over to Kyle Walker. Kyle Walker just drops it back to John Stones from the throw-in. And there's Rodri, and he goes all the way back to Diaz. Diaz plays the ball long down this left-hand side to Manuel Akanji. Akanji slips the ball to Jack Grealish. Good challenge by Ben White. Puts the ball out of play. Going to be a throw-in for Manchester City. It's midway inside the Arsenal half of the field. We've played 10 minutes in this second half. It's Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. And the ball is with Ruben Diaz. He plays it to Erling Haaland. Erling Haaland's touch is not great, and Arsenal can break out now. Here's Odegaard, fouled that time by Rodri, surely. Be a free kick. And Arsenal can now move forward with Gabriel Martinelli. Martinelli finds Declan Rice. Declan Rice in an advanced position, drops it back to Martinelli. And Martinelli gives the ball to Timmer. Timmer's got space, gives the ball to Martinelli again. Back to Timmer. Timmer plays the ball across to Saliba. Saliba's got Ben White down this right-hand side. Let's see what he can do with it. Ben White. He drops the ball back to Saliba and to Gabriel. Gabriel just gives the ball to Declan Rice. Declan Rice looking for what options he's got available. He's just inside his own half. He gives the ball to Saliba and then drops it to Ben White. Ben White plays the ball forward over to Saka. Saka, nice little ball through there to Thomas Partey. And now to Odegaard. Back to Saka. Arsenal trying to penetrate Manchester City now and create some attacking options of their own. Here's Declan Rice. Rice. He's being pressed back, but he's got options available. And he gives it to Havertz. Havertz just drops it back to Gabriel. And he has the ball just over the halfway line. And Declan Rice. Arsenal being pressed back a little bit here by Manchester City. And here's Thomas Partey inside his own half. And Partey gives the ball to Saliba. Saliba just lifts the ball over to Bukayo Saka. Saka drops it back to Ben White. And Arsenal really at the moment being pressed back by this Manchester City team. And here's Declan Rice. Rice plays the ball forward there to Timmer. Let's see what Timmer can do now. And he sets Martinelli on his way, but the ball is a disappointing one and it's out of play. It's going to be a throw into Manchester City and brings an end that counter attack. And we're going to see our first substitution of the day, and Phil Foden is going to be coming on. We're just going to see who's coming off. Jack Grealish, so it's very much like for like. Jack Grealish coming off, Phil Foden coming on 57 minutes. So the substitution, first move of the day made by either manager as Foden comes on. Let's see what he can bring, a different kind of dimension to Manchester City's attack, which has been relatively well closed down today by Arsenal. They've found it very difficult to do anything of Manchester City. And it's cleared away by Ortega. It's headed back on by Ben White. But here's Ruben Diaz now. Diaz just turns away from Odegaard, but he nearly gave the ball away to Bukayo Saka. Indeed, he did, and Saka is fouled, and it's going to be a free kick to Arsenal in a fairly dangerous position. And I think we're going to see another yellow card, are we? No. The referee decides this time to keep his cards in his pocket. Actually, if I'm being honest, that's probably more of a yellow card than any of the others, I'll say that. Just captures Bukayo Saka on the toe there. And Saka is just still down at the moment. And Phil Foden, if you are following on by watching and just listening to our commentary, Phil Foden is wearing number 47. And the free kick is going to be taken by Gabriel Martinelli. It's an excellent position to swing the ball in. And we're just going to see what Martinelli is going to do here. Remember, if this game finishes tied, we go straight to penalties. There is no extra time, mercifully for my voice. And it's going to be swung in here by Gabriel Martinelli. He just delays there. Bit of gamesmanship there from Martinelli. Is he going to swing it in this time? Yes, he does. It's in that corridor of uncertainty, but nobody was there for the Arsenal. And John Stones, I think, did he get a touch on it? I don't think he did. It's going to be a throw into City, but nobody was attacking that ball. How disappointing for Arsenal, because that was a beautiful ball played into that corridor of uncertainty, but nobody there to attack it, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. Mike says Martinelli's deliveries have been very poor. I would argue though that one was a very good one. I think if Arsenal would have been attacking it, somebody would have been there to get on the end of that. It was very difficult for the goalkeeper to manage and the defense to manage, but nobody was there nevertheless, and it's going to be City now picked up the ball and it's back with Akanji to the goalkeeper. And here is Ruben Diaz. And Diaz just slips the ball to Rodri. Rodri over on the far side to Stones. He's just being forced back now back to the goalkeeper, to Stefan Ortega, whose clearance is looking to find Erling Haaland. Haaland's knock on to Bernardo Silva, but Bernardo Silva's unable to control it, and now Arsenal can counter again. But they are dispossessed by Julian Alvarez. Bernardo and Kovacic just slips the ball down to Phil Foden, who's basically taken Jack Grealish's position on that left-hand side. Here's Kovacic. Kovacic tries to slip the ball through to Haaland, but that's a good stop by William Saliba again. And Arsenal can now bring the ball forward. It's Thomas Partey, gives it back to Saliba. Here's Timmer. Timmer just lifts the ball forward. He's looking for Gabriel Martinelli. Good control by Gabriel Martinelli. Brings it down and turns away from Walker. Here's Partey. He's got Ben White and Martin Odegaard here. Here's Martin Odegaard. Good ball to Ben White. Can Ben White get the cross in? Oh, he can, but it is blocked by Manuel Akanji, and it is going to be a throw-in. And Mike Harneman rightly says Saliba is good in his positioning. It's fantastic. We missed him massively at the end of last season. I absolutely agree with you there, Mike. I think we actually discussed that in one of the games last season that I was commentating on. I agree with you. They were certainly missing him there, and he's been very, very effective defensively today for Manchester City. For Arsenal, and it's going to be at the moment. If I was choosing a player of the match, it'll Saliba would probably figure in my thoughts quite a bit because of the way he's just simply shut down him and Gabriel simply shut down this Manchester City attack, and that is no mean feat by any means. You're talking about a player in the Manchester City lineup, Erling Haaland, that's got over 50 goals last season. And here is Phil Foden. Phil Foden drops it to Akanji, and under pressure there is Kovacic. He's dispossessed, and Arsenal now moving forward again. Declan Rice to Martin Odegaard. Odegaard cuts into the penalty area. Odegaard pulled back. Martinelli pulled back to Odegaard, and it's back to Declan Rice, who blazes a shot over the crossbar. Disappointing effort by Declan Rice, but it was a good breakout again by Arsenal. The build-up was excellent. And Odegaard and Martinelli once again linking up. We're now going to see a substitute for Manchester City, and Erling Haaland is going off, and Cole Palmer is coming on in his stead. Now that's interesting. Cole Palmer often plays in midfield, but he is coming on now on 63 minutes. I wonder if he's going to drop back. Kevin De Bruyne is coming on also for Mateo Kovacic. Kevin De Bruyne now. So we're going to see a little bit of creativity with the influx of Kevin De Bruyne. We'll see if City are going to change their system. They may be going to a 4-4-2 here, but we'll keep an eye on that. And here's Timmer. Timmer plays the ball forward to Martinelli. And Timmer was following up again, and this time he was fouled, and it's going to be a free kick, and it's a foul by Rodri, and we're going to have a free kick. So just to go over those two substitutes again, Kevin De Bruyne and Cole Palmer on, and Erling Haaland and Mateo Kovacic are off. So it's going to be a free kick, and again, it's going to be a corner, actually. The referee did not give a free kick there. So we're going to see a corner. Mike says that's a huge credit to the back line. Haaland doesn't see the game out. Absolutely. And this is swung in by Martinelli, and it's headed behind. Came off the substitute, Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer wears number 80 and De Bruyne number 17 if you are following along on the pictures. And it's going to be a corner again to Arsenal, as they really have started this second half very strongly. And we have 65 minutes gone, 35 minutes to go. It's Martinelli again with a corner. This was a very disappointing one. It goes into the side netting. Just to echo a little bit about what Mike has said about Martinelli's deliveries today, a lot of them haven't been great, and that was another example of it there. So far, no option has been made by Mikel Arteta for the bench yet, and we're gonna see the goal kick now from that disappointing corner. And you are listening to alternative commentary on the Commentary Hub YouTube channel. Today's Player of the Match sponsor on the Hub is sponsored by Commentary Services. Commentary Services would like to thank our broadcasting partner for this season, JB Sports and Storm FM. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitter at Commentary Live 1, and you can like our Facebook page at facebook.com/the Commentary Hub. And that's my marketing duties done for the day. And it looks like we have another Arsenal booking, and it's Gabriel this time that goes into the referee's notebook. And we're just going to see if I can find out what for. Delay of the game. I think he got in the way of Stefan Ortega's goal kick, and that's the reason why he has gone into the book. So we're back underway here now, and it is William Saliba. Saliba goes across to Timmer, and Timmer drops it back to Aaron Ramsdale under a bit of pressure, but Ramsdale does clear it. Not effectively, though. It goes out of play for a throw into Manchester City. And as time is ticking on here, we wonder whether there will be a goal to settle this, or whether this is going to go all the way to penalties. And here is Rodri. Rodri just plays the ball forward to Cole Palmer, but that's good interception. And here's Kai Havertz now moving forward for Arsenal. He's just going to try and hold the ball up. He gives the ball to Timmer. Timmer gives the ball back to Kai Havertz. Saka and Odegaard are up there with him. And he gives it to Partey to Saliba. Saliba's got space. He finds Ben White. Can Ben White gets across it first time? Oh, and it just bounces away from Saka. Oh, what a chance. He just couldn't connect with it. Could Bukayo Saka? He'll be disappointed with that. And it's cleared away. But that was another sight on goal by Arsenal. And the chance wasn't taken. And here's Ben White. White just drops it back to the goalkeeper. Drops it back to Saliba. Mike says Declan Rice has been very good today too. I like the look of him. Partey in midfield, although Xhaka had a great season last season. Xhaka, of course, is one of the players that has been shipped out this season for Arsenal, more notably. And he actually went to... he actually was sold... Xhaka was sold and to Bayer Leverkusen for 4.15 million. And under pressure there is Ben White, and he finds Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne back to Bernardo Silva. Silva back to the Rodri, and out on the far side here is Cole Palmer again. Palmer just drops it back there to Kyle Walker. And here's John Stones now. Stones just gives it to Ruben Diaz. Diaz to Bernardo Silva. And he drops it back to John Stones. Stones over on the far side to Walker. As once again, City being pressed back now. They really have been shut down by this amazing Arsenal defence today. Here's Stones. It's back with Rodri. Rodri's under pressure. He's able to find Diaz, and Diaz just flicks the ball over to Kevin De Bruyne. Bit of space now. What can Kevin De Bruyne do with it? He tries to slip the ball across to Foden, and it's on the far side, and the shot comes in from Cole Palmer, but it's took a deflection by Timmer and goes over the crossbar. Good work there by Jurrien Timmer. He just gets the block in on that and turns it over Ramsdale's goal. But that was the clearest sight on goal City have had all afternoon. And it's going to be a corner kick Only one effort on target by Manchester City. That's an amazing testament to Arsenal's defending. Foden from the corner just gives it to Kyle Walker. Walker launches the ball in and up there, and it just headed down and behind by Timmer one more time. Good work by him again. Jurrien Timmer just heads the ball behind there from the penalty area, inside the penalty area, taking no chances. And it's going to be a corner once again to Manchester City, as we've got 20 minutes to go here. It's Manchester City, it's Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. And it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne. Certainly since Kevin has come on, there's been that extra edge of creativity. Phil Foden crosses it in, but it's not the best cross. And Gabriel Martinelli just clears the ball forward. He only finds Kyle Walker, and he goes all the way back to Stefan Ortega. And here's Cole Palmer again. And here's Ruben Diaz. Diaz just gives the ball to Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva just plays the ball across there to Rodri. Rodri just drops it back to Kyle Walker. And Rodri just flicks the ball on, but it's disappointing by him. And now Arsenal can come on the break. And Havertz is chasing this down, but John Stones cuts across and clears up the ball there. It was just a bit too far ahead of Kai Havertz. And John Stones just cuts across and makes the interception. And City now can build up again from the back. It's Ruben Diaz. Gives the ball to Rodri. Rodri midway inside his own half of the field. Just does a quick 1-2 with Phil Foden. And decides to give the ball to Stones. Stones on the far side there to Cole Palmer, who's adopted a more wide position now. And it's Stones again. Stones inside the centre circle. And he gives it to Foden. Foden drops it back to Bernardo Silva. And Stones just drops it back now to Ruben Diaz. Bernardo Silva. Back to Akanji. Akanji gives it to Foden. Back to Silva, who goes back to Diaz. It's patient build up again by Manchester City. Diaz. Gives it back to Bernardo Silva, and it's with Akanji. Akanji to Foden. Foden to Rodri. Rodri, long ball on the far side. There's Kyle Walker. He's got a bit of space. Can he get the cross in? But it takes a deflection. And once again, Timmer is there once again to shut down the cross. And it's going to be a corner once again to Manchester City. And Manchester City fan there behind the goal. And it's going to be another corner. And it looks like this is going to be outswung. Akanji's in there. Diaz is in there. Stones is in there. The usual suspects, Rodri. And it's outswung by De Bruyne. And Rodri tried to go for it, but Odegaard got there first. And now Arsenal can break away. And here is Bukayo Saka. He's got some space to run in front of him. He just pulls it back, but it's a poor ball by Saka. And it's picked up by Alvarez. Alvarez has got Cole Palmer alongside him. Palmer. He gives the ball away as well. And the ball finds Saka and it goes back to Ben White. Gabriel now coming forward with the ball. And he's midway inside his own half. Gabriel. It was a poor ball there to Timmer. And now City can break away. And here's Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne launches the ball in, but Alvarez is nowhere near that. That's a very poor ball by Kevin De Bruyne. I wonder if it just took a deflection on its way through. This may be a corner. Yes, I think it did. Did it? I want to say it did. Looked like it might have taken a deflection, but it's very difficult to say. We're going to see a substitution now. Gabriel Martinelli is coming off, and Leandro Trossard is coming on for the first Arsenal substitution. So Trossard is on, Martinelli is off, That's on 74 minutes, and it is in fact a goal kick. There is no corner there. So we have 15 minutes left, and it's Arsenal 0, Manchester City 0. Is this Community Shield 2023 heading to penalties? It remains to be seen. Timmer is going off now for Kieran Tierney. Tierney is the second Arsenal substitution. And for Jurien Timmer, who has been absolutely outstanding today, he goes off. Probably booked himself a place in the starting lineup, really, for the opening home game against Nottingham Forest on Saturday. But we'll wait and see on that. And decent debut for him, as Mike says. And City now building up from the back again with Ruben Diaz. And Diaz again has it inside his own penalty area. As City have this again, the very slow build up. It's played back by to the goalkeeper and played out by Ortega, and Rodri dropped it back, and now City can now move away with Phil Foden storming over the halfway line. Foden, and it looks like he was looking for Cole Palmer. He founded it off the head of De Bruyne. Cole Palmer with his shot! Oh, outstanding! Absolutely outstanding! What a strike by Cole Palmer! And Manchester City take the lead. Oh, from nowhere, from absolutely nowhere. Oh, what a strike by Cole Palmer. And Manchester City take the lead from the substitute, Cole Palmer, on 77 minutes. Let's just take a look at this again. If you're listening to this and you've not seen it yet, take the time to have a look at this, because it was from the head of Kevin De Bruyne to Cole Palmer. It was just inside the penalty area, and he just curled a beauty past Aaron Ramsdale into his right top corner. Ramsdale, no chance. What a strike. And it's 1-0 to Manchester City. And that might be that, folks, in terms of winning this game. And what a strike. Absolutely brilliant. And Mike rightly says Ramsdale can't do anything about that. Very good goal. Yes, no chance for Aaron Ramsdale as City now take a 1-0 lead. But can Arsenal get back into this game? That remains to be seen. As here's Gabriel. And it's back with Ben White. Ben White just drops it back there to Gabriel. And Mike says defo one to watch. Agree with you there, Mike. If you get the chance to see that goal, wow. Odegaard tries to find Leandro Trossard on the far side, but the ball is a disappointing one. It's comfortably won back by Kyle Walker. And now it's given to Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne over the halfway line. He's got time and space in front of him. He gives it to Phil Foden. Foden, back to De Bruyne. Back to Foden. And Foden drops it back to Manuel Akanji. And he goes back to Diaz, and Diaz to Bernardo Silva. Silva cross to John Stones. And Stones gives the ball to Akanji. And it goes all the way, to Kyle Walker. And it goes all the way back to Stefan Ortega. And here is Bernardo Silva. Bernardo Silva just drops the ball across to John Stones. Stones finds Cole Palmer again, running at Leandro Trossard. He almost loses balance as Cole Palmer, but he's got Tierney in front of him. But Tierney just tidies up and takes the ball away from Cole Palmer. And here's Kai Havertz, and he drops it back into the penalty area to Gabriel. And here is Kai Havertz now. Not Kai Havertz, Declan Rice. But it's won back by Manchester City. And it's Ruben Diaz. Diaz goes back to the goalkeeper. And Ortega clears it, but well, he delayed a bit, and he was under pressure by Thomas Partey, and that goes out of play. And Mike says, scary to think that City are spending so much on players, yet still have players from the academy coming through. Who can do that? Who indeed, Mike? Who indeed? And they actually haven't spent a huge amount this summer. Arsenal, we've got another substitution. Declan Rice has gone off, and Eddie Nketiah is on for Declan Rice. So Rice is off and Nketiah is on with 10 minutes to go. And what a strike. Absolute beauty. Yes, I was just about to say, the spending from Manchester City, if you include the 90 million they've just spent, you're talking 119 million. Arsenal, as it stands, have spent obviously a lot more, over 200 million. But the transfer window, of course, is not over yet. So City may well invest in some more players. It's difficult to say, but I think football's going crazy in this aspect right now. We have a free kick to Arsenal, which Ben White will take quickly. And over on the far side there is Tierney. Tierney drops it back to Aaron Ramsdale, who's just trying to push Arsenal forward a little bit. Here's Martin Odegaard. And it's Odegaard. The ball is played forward, but it's Arsenal are going to have to try to win this ball back now because Odegaard does. Oh, he was trying to play through Havertz there and nearly was successful. Good work by Ruben Diaz in blocking that pass through, because if Diaz wouldn't have got there, Havertz was in. And now City on the break with Alvarez. Alvarez cutting into the penalty area. Alvarez tries to play the ball through, and here's a chance for Foden! Oh, what a wonderful save by Aaron Ramsdale! Oh, wow. Foden can't believe it. But this is what City are good at. Such a quick break. They know just where to strike. Alvarez holds the ball up, plays the ball through to Foden. Foden brings the ball under control excellently. But what a fantastic save by Aaron Ramsdale with his legs. And Foden can't believe it. That would certainly have wrapped it up. But as it is, it's a corner, and Kevin De Bruyne. How important of a save will that prove to be? Can Arsenal get back into it? De Bruyne with a corner. It's flicked on. Oh, another superb save from the flicked header from Kevin De Bruyne. How did Aaron Ramsdale get down and make that save? Well, we're going to have another look at that in a moment. That is just got down from the flick on there to make the save. Oh, I thought that was going in. And it just got smartly down to... Yes, Mike says, sorry, Everton fans, that's why Ramsdale should be England's number one. Well, I think, Mike, that's something we've discussed at length in the past, isn't it? And I agree with you. He definitely should be, in my opinion. Odegaard plays the ball and finds Havertz. Havertz just drops the ball back. I'd like to see that save again. I haven't seen any replay of it yet on my monitor. But that was an incredible save. Here's Thomas Partey. Partey just plays the ball forward to Saka. Saka, is he fouled there? The referee plays on. It's Havertz. Over on the far side to Tierney. Tierney plays the ball to Trossard. Trossard tries to find Tierney again, but he's just under pressure here from Kyle Walker and forced to go back. He does find Thomas Partey. Partey to Odegaard. Back to Partey. Oh, Partey's ball is a disappointing one. And now Kevin De Bruyne, can he break away? No, he's had the ball taken away from him by Thomas Partey, and he goes back to Aaron Ramsdale, whose heroics have stopped this game from being well beyond Arsenal's reach. In a few moments, I will be naming my player of the match, and I shall give that in a few minutes' time. We'll just... figure out who it's going to be, but I've got a few names in mind. It's cleared long upfield, and Akanji just wins the ball and heads it to Rodri, and it's cleared downfield there by Stefan Ortega. And Arsenal now moving forward with Odegaard. Odegaard, it's blocked, but here's Foden now over the halfway line. Foden to De Bruyne, and De Bruyne just holds the ball up, and it comes off Bukayo Saka and goes behind for a goal kick. And we're just going to see that save again. The header there. Oh, that is incredible. Oh, it was a great move as well, really, by Rodri, who's been very effective in this game so far. He's controlled a lot of the midfield for much of the game, but that is a superb save. My goodness me. And here's Rodri again. Rodri. And he gives the ball forward now to Cole Palmer, the goal scorer. He just tries to turn away from Tierney. And was he fouled? Did he foul Cole Palmer? It doesn't look like it. No decision has been given. And it's played forward now, looking for Nketiah. It just allows the ball to go out of play, and it's going to be a throw-in. And it's going to be a throw-in to Arsenal. As we're now seeing the throw-in to be taken. And Cole Palmer just over there wanting to try to close down Kieran Tierney from the throw-in. And here is Gabriel. Gabriel drops the ball back to the goalkeeper. And I am very tempted to name my player of the match here in just a moment. And I'm just going to put it up here. And then we'll have a look at naming the player of the match in just a second. It's cleared downfield, and it's won again by Kevin De Bruyne. De Bruyne turning. He's got two players around him, and it's a good block by Gabriel. And I'm going to give us our player of the match now. Today's player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services. Normally, you would give the player of the match to a player on the winning side, but I have decided not to do that today. I'm giving the player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services, to Arsenal's number 2, William Saliba. He's been outstanding today. He's worked very, very hard. And I felt that he shut down Erling Haaland excellent. And for me, he deserves the player of the match today. So today's player of the match, sponsored by Commentary Services, is Arsenal's number 2, William Saliba. A couple of substitutions here. Vieira has just come on. And so has Emil Smith-Rowe. Now, Kai Havertz has come off. I'm just looking to see who the other one is that has come off. And I'll get that for you in a moment. See who has just come off for Arsenal here, the other substitution. And so Havertz is off. Declan Rice is the other one to have come off. So Declan Rice is off. Oh, no, it's not Declan Rice. Gabriel is the other one to have come off. So Gabriel has come off. And also Kai Havertz and Fabio Vieira and Emil Smith-Rowe is on for Arsenal. Thank you, Mike. And with the remaining 90 seconds in this game, we will see where this plays out and see if Arsenal can get themselves back into this game. As our player of the match, Saliba, just drops the ball back to the goalkeeper, Aaron Ramsdale, but it's given away by Ramsdale, and Partey had to fight to win that ball back. And now here's Tierney. Tierney just drops the ball back there, and it's now with Arsenal's number 4, Ben White. Ben White to Partey. Partey fouled surely there. Definitely a free kick by Rodri, and that really should be a yellow card. If the referee is applying consistency, that really should be a yellow card, but no card is given that time to Rodri. He's got away with a few today. Here's Bukayo Saka. And Saka just drops it back to Ben White. Ben White also then goes back to the goalkeeper, and Ramsdale just clears it. It's now Partey over on the far side to Tierney as we are closing in on stoppage time. And the John Brooks, the fourth official, has given 8 minutes stoppage time. So Arsenal do have some time now to try to get back into this. 8 minutes of it to be exact. And here's Odegaard. Odegaard over on the far side to Tierney. Tierney plays the ball forward. It looks like we've got, and you can see Pep Guardiola is arguing with somebody down the far side, maybe with a fourth official. Maybe he feels 8 minutes is unwarranted. Have to be honest, I'm not sure where the 8 minutes have come from myself. Mike said that's more like it. 8 minutes in this half for the weekend. I think, Mike, yeah, I mean, it's hard to see where the 8 minutes has come from, but there it is anyway. And it's now with Saliba, who just drops the ball back to Aaron Ramsdale, and he gets the ball back. Saliba just drops it there to Ben White. White plays the ball forward, and it's looking for Nketiah. Nketiah has the ball here now. He's got 2 players around him, but he's turning. Eddie Nketiah just drops it back to Odegaard. Odegaard on the far side to Tierney, out to Leandro Trossard. What can Arsenal do now? They've got time to get back into this game. Smith Rowe drops it back to Arsenal's number 5, Thomas Partey, and he gives it to Saliba. Saliba plays the ball long on the far side to Bukayo Saka. Saka back to White. And here's Odegaard again. Odegaard, he's got time and space. Drop back to Nketiah. Back to Vieira. Vieira, long ball on the far side. And it's Partey again, trying to dance into the penalty area. Tierney gets the cross in. Who's up there? It's right on the far side to Vieira. Can he get the shot in? He chooses not to. He launched it to the back post to Partey. And, well, he may have been better striking it from there, Vieira. But now we've got an injury, 2 players down. So that's going to allow for even more time to be added on. Clash of heads between Walker and Thomas Partey. So obviously you can't take any chances in that situation. Concussion protocols, these players, the player's safety has to come first. And we've got the physio on for Manchester City and Arsenal, both of them out there right now. And the official just monitoring what's going on. Cole Palmer just going to take 5 minutes himself now. Look at that goal again. What a strike. My goodness me. You can see here it's just launched, just away from Aaron Ramsdale. And, well, what a chance. But that he's done is, I mean, Cole Palmer's been on the fringe of the first team for a while at Manchester City, and he's done his chances. No harm there. What a strike. And you can see Pep's reaction as well when that went in. He's delighted. So the players are still down. It looks like there's definitely certainly no chances being taken there. And we're just going to take a look at some of the other scores from around Europe today. In the Austrian Bundesliga, Austria Lustanu 0, Austria Vienna 2, BW Linz 3, Hartberg 3, Salzburg 3, Tyrol 0. Also in the Belgian Pro League, Anderlecht 1, Antwerp 0, KV Mechelen 0, Ghent 1. This is a later score. Westerlo 0, Club Bruges 0. 27 minutes gone there. And that's the latest in the Belgian league. And obviously, from earlier on, you may have heard the Women's World Cup, the favourites, the USA, are out on a penalty shootout to Sweden. And in the Canadian Premier League, and yes, there is a Canadian Premier League. It's actually only about 4 years old. Vancouver FC take on Valor. That is at that would be at 10 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. Where I am, and also I'll take a look here as well. There's some other games going on from the Championship today. Leicester City 2, Coventry 1. Leeds scrambled a draw against Coventry after being 2-0 down. A last-minute injury time goal by Crescencio Somerville saved the blushers for Leeds United. And at half-time at the Stadium of Light, it's Sunderland 0, Ipswich 1, as the players have been patched up and are just about ready to go. And we can see here that we're about to get the game back underway. I think the referee is just going to hand the ball to Stefan Ortega. And we've already spent much of the injury time with those injuries, so I expect we'll go another 5 minutes at least yet, if not more. Stefan Ortega just clears the ball downfield now as we are back underway. And Saliba let that bounce. That was dangerous. Alvarez was moving in. Showed a lot of faith in his goalkeeper there, that's for sure. Here is Martin Odegaard. Odegaard just drops it back to Ben White. Ben White gives the ball to Saliba. Saliba to Emil Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe drops it back to Ben White, and Ben White plays the ball long, looking for Nketiah. Brings the ball down well, Eddie Nketiah. And let's see what he can do. Has he gone down there? The referee has said no foul. And Akanji plays on. But Arsenal win the ball back with Partey with the bandage on his head now. And Partey just plays the ball out on this far side to Vieira. Vieira cutting inside. Pulls the ball back to Odegaard. Odegaard's pass there is just a little bit short. And it's cleared away by John Stones. And the game continues. But again, that Arsenal attack breaks down as much as it has in the second half for Arsenal. But it's been an interesting performance by Arsenal. They really have shut Manchester City down for the most part defensively. It really took a world beater to break down that Arsenal defence. There's been nothing cheap given away by the Gunners today. Here's Emil Smith-Rowe, and he is challenged by Alvarez, and it goes out of play for a throw-in. And Arsenal will take the throw-in with Kieran Tierney, who gives it to Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe drops it down this near side to Odegaard. Odegaard drops it back to, it's a long ball by Ben White. And it's cleared forward. And Partey again. He just drops the ball here now to Vieira. And Odegaard plays the ball long over on the far side to Tierney. Tierney, he's chasing this one. Is Smith-Rowe, but cutting across is John Stones. John Stones, but it's won back by Smith-Rowe. Good work by him. And just under pressure there is Leandro Trossard, but he still manages to get the ball away. And here's Saka, and he's found Vieira. Can Vieira get the cross in? He can, but it's a poor one, and it's blocked by Diaz and cleared away and all the way back into the Arsenal half of the field. And under pressure there is Saliba by Kevin De Bruyne, chasing that one down like the true professional he is. And here's Saliba under pressure by De Bruyne and Foden. He does well. The referee has said that that's a foul by Kevin De Bruyne on William Saliba. And it's a free kick to Arsenal. Here's Partey. And it's dropped over to Ben White. Ben White gives the ball to Vieira. Vieira to Thomas Partey. Back to Odegaard. Odegaard to Smith-Rowe. Smith-Rowe lifts it over to Vieira. He's got Ben White overlapping. He finds Ben White. White with the cross, but it's blocked by Phil Foden. and it's going to be a corner to Arsenal as we're into whatever time now is added on for the injury to Thomas Partey and Ruben Diaz. Both of them are on their feet now, of course. And the corner is coming in. And it's going to be Bukayo Saka. Is he going to in-swing it? Arsenal loading that 6-yard box. Odegaard, Smith Rowe, Trossard. And Saka's going to swing this one in. Just a delay here. Saka swings the ball in. No, it's deep towards the goalkeeper. And it almost went in there. It comes back to Saka. And it's back to Trossard. Trossard holds the ball up. Trossard with a strike. He takes a deflection. And it's 1-1. And just like that, we're going to go to penalties. Oh, just look at this strike by Trossard. This might go down as an own goal, I might add. We're definitely going to have the dubious goals panel looking at this. And it looks like well, he's shaking his head, and it looks like it might be a Manuel Akanji own goal. City can't believe it. Arsenal are back in it. And we're just going to see. I'm not sure where the goal is going to be given. It's from, let's look at it again. It's from Trossard's strike. Was it on target? Well, yes. I mean, I think it was. I think it should go down to Trossard, but we'll wait and see. Actually, I don't know. Looking at that angle, it's difficult to say. We might just see where that might go. Not sure where it's going to go, to be honest. It's initially been given to Trossard. So Trossard's goal on 101 minutes means, of course, that we are going to penalties if it stays like this. So the last time this referee, Stuart Atwell, was here at Wembley, we also saw penalties, 11-10 in the 2021-2022 League Cup final. And it's going to be taken here as well. This is going to be a free kick now to Manchester City, and it's going to be Kevin De Bruyne. He launches it in there. Oh, and almost on the end of it was Ruben Diaz, but it just escapes him and goes behind goes into the arms of the goalkeeper, and still we play on. We've played 102 minutes now, and it's 1-1. And can one of these teams grab a winner? Here's Partey. The ball is played long there, and it finds Bukayo Saka. And Saka just drops the ball it's intercepted, and City can move away now, and that's it. It's full time after 90 minutes, and a very late equaliser by Leandro Trossard on 101 minutes cancelled out Cole Palmer's world-class strike on 72 minutes. And I actually think this is the right result at the moment. 1-1, and it's full time. Before we go to penalties, we'll just go back to the studio to JB for some thoughts. JB, outstanding, hey?
Outstanding indeed. What a finish to that game it really was, and still more drama to come here on the TCL with Paul James, and he will bring you that penalty shootout. We'll bring you the presentation. We'll do everything before we leave you a little bit later on. So 1-1, what a goal from Cole Palmer, but City unfortunately can count themselves very unfortunate to be pulled level. But at the end of the day, I think 1-1 on the balance of play is probably about right. So both managers will have to get a little list together and get their 5 designated penalty takers together. Just to remind you that this does not go to extra time, and it's been credited to Trossard, we believe, on the TV, although Akanji did take a slight deflection off Akanji, but if it was going on target, then you've got to give it Leandro Trossard, I suppose. But Arsenal got themselves back into it. Mind you, we had that injury at the end. It was 8 minutes originally. Then we had the injuries for both Arsenal and Manchester City. There was one player each on the deck, and well, there we go. Penalties as to come in the. It's half time in the Championship. Paul may have brought you the latest score, but we're going to bring you the half time here at up at the Stadium of Light. Sunderland 0, Ipswich on their return to the Championship 1. And the goal scored by Broadhead has given Ipswich the lead in that one. So Ipswich winning there 1-0. Just remind you that this game's going to penalties. Remember, Leeds drew 2-2 from Cardiff from 2 goals down. And Leicester came back to beat Coventry 2-1 in the early kickoff. Very early kickoff. Now it seems a long time ago since that happened. In a friendly game today, in a final pre-season friendly just down the road from Wembley today, that Harry Kane scored 4 times as Tottenham beat Shakhtar Donetsk 5-1 in a pre-season friendly. There's still talk of him going to Bayern Munich, but it looks as if Daniel Levy, the Spurs chairman, he's holding out for as big a prize as he can. Kane's future at Spurs obviously remains the subject of a lot of scrutiny from a lot of sections of the media with a year left on his current contract and Bayern Munich obviously stepping up their interest. But he was given the captain's armband and he scored 4 times to really give Ang Postecoglou his with the victory as well. So that was a really good finish there. So they start their game at Brentford, start their season against Brentford on the 13th of August. I will also give you a rundown on all the upcoming games we're going to give you on the TC Hub as well. Before we leave you tonight, what's going to come up next week? We've got England tomorrow as well, 8:30 in the morning. That game kicks off. So if you want to join Russ Byrne tomorrow morning, you'll have to get up nice and early if you're going to watch that one. Watch that England Women's World Cup game. But at the moment, we're still waiting for the penalty shootouts. They're just tossing up for the whose end where they're going to go to. Manchester City looks like they're going towards the Arsenal end by the looks of it. Martin Odegaard pointing towards the right-hand goal. And who's going to have first kick? We'll find out who gets the first kick in a second. But it was Martin Odegaard and Kevin De Bruyne who were conducting a coin toss. The referee had a much better second half, I thought, than the first half. So where they're going? They're going down to the Arsenal end of the ground. Whether that will give them a slight advantage or not, I'm not quite sure. But it's an interesting one, that is for sure. So we've got penalties to come. Stefan Ortega just going across to his teammates there as he'll make his way. We'll go across to Wembley to Paul James in a second or two, but Stefan Ortega going up towards the goal. We'll get an inkling of who's going to go first as well before we hand back to Paul. Both goalkeepers being spoken to by the referee. Remember, they can't move. They can only have 1 foot off the line. They've got to have at least 1 foot on the line before the kicker has his kick. You can't have 2 feet off the line, or you can't be setting them over the line. And it looks as if that Arsenal are going to go first as well, because Ramsdale's making his way towards the edge of the penalty area and Stefan Ortega is going in goal. So it looks as if Arsenal are going to go first, and it's down the Arsenal end. We're about to start penalties, and without further ado, let's go back to Paul James for the penalty shootout. Over to you, Paul.
Thank you, JB. And Martin Odegaard now is about to step up with the first penalty for the Gunners. And Odegaard puts it to the goalkeeper's right-hand side, sending Ortega the wrong way. And Arsenal put away their first penalty in front of their own fans. It was right in the corner. No chance for Ortega. Let's see who's stepping up for Manchester City. I just wonder if they regret taking off Erling Haaland. But here is Kevin De Bruyne, who's very competent from the spot. And he will be first up for Manchester City against Aaron Ramsdale. And it's Kevin De Bruyne. Steps up and... oh, he hits the crossbar! De Bruyne hits the crossbar! And Manchester City missed their first penalty! And Arsenal, first blood to the Gunners! And he just smacked it against the crossbar. Oh, well, he sent Ramsdale the wrong way, but he just got a bit too much on that. And it's going to be Arsenal now with their next penalty. And it looks like from a distance that it's going to be it's Leandro Trossard. Leandro Trossard will step up for the Gunners. Can he make it 2-0? Right in front of those Arsenal fans. And Leandro Trossard stepping up now. And he just taking a short run up. Leandro Trossard. Let's see if he can put this ball away. Here he comes. He steps up and he sends Ortega the wrong way. Ortega goes to the right this time. Trossard sends it to the left, right into the corner. And Arsenal take a 2-goal lead in this penalty shootout. And who's up next for... it's Bernardo Silva for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva next up. He needs to score. Otherwise, City will be really behind the 8 ball. Silva! Oh, and he puts it in. And, he put it at a good height for the goalkeeper, but it really was right into the corner. And that's an excellent penalty. And Bernardo Silva just tucks that away. And, yes, sends Ramsdale the wrong way. So puts City on the board. And now it's Bukayo Saka. Bukayo Saka. He's had his penalty difficulties in the past, but he's also very competent from the spot. And he steps up now against Stefan Ortega. Bukayo Saka, short run up. Can he make it 3-1? Bukayo Saka in front of those Arsenal fans. He steps up and he sends Ortega the wrong way again. It's 3-1. And that is a wonderful penalty. Just tucks that one away right into the corner. Well, not totally into the corner, but it was still a good penalty. And the goalkeeper, Ortega, went the wrong way. And it's Rodri next up for Manchester City with the pressure really mounting now. They can't afford to miss this. Rodri steps up. And it's saved by Aaron Ramsdale! It's saved by Aaron Ramsdale! And now Arsenal can win it with their next penalty. Well, he went to the right-hand side. He just didn't get it far enough into the corner. And in the end, it was actually quite a comfortable save. It was a very poor penalty from Rodri. A comfortable save. And now, if Arsenal can score this, they will win the 2023 Community Shield, and it falls upon the substitute Fabio Vieira. Let's see if he can win the day for Arsenal. And oh, look at that Manchester City fan, a young boy there in tears. Oh, you don't like to see that. That's very sad. But his team could be facing defeat here, and it's Fabio Vieira. He steps up. Oh, he puts it in the roof of the net. And Arsenal are the 2023 Community Shield winners. Oh, he just put that right in the corner and right into the top corner, away from Stefan Ortega. And Arsenal celebrate victory here. And Manchester City taste defeat in their first major competition this season. And, well, Arsenal fans are delighted. They are the 2023 Community Shield winners, 4-1 on penalties after a last-minute injury time equaliser. And, JB, let's go back to you. That's excitement for you.
Absolute excitement there. Just watching that last penalty there. What a penalty that was to win the game. Arsenal absolutely deserve it. They were terrific in the shootout, and they're absolutely... It's almost as if they've won the Champions League the way they're celebrating, but it is a trophy for them. And they were too good on the penalties. Well, maybe Kevin De Bruyne, he's human after all. It was a woeful penalty miss, really. He did everything but score. He hit the crossbar. And Arsenal take the Shield, the McDonald's FA Community Shield home to the Emirates. So a terrific result, terrific day for Arsenal. But I don't think that young lad should be too upset. There's still another 4 competitions for Manchester City to go at this season. The Carabao Cup, the Premier League, and the FA Cup, of course, which they won last year, and the Champions League, of course. He shouldn't be too upset. He's team of the European champions. But it's Arsenal's day today up at Wembley, down at Wembley. And, well, they were heading to defeat. It was seemingly to defeat. As we see that penalty again, the Arsenal penalties were exceptional, I have to say, in the shootout. And Stefan Ortega was getting nowhere near any of them. It was just excellent. Excellent to watch. I don't think it was that much of a drama. Arsenal, it was clear cut who was going to win this one, really, to be perfectly honest. But a terrific result. And Mikel Arteta, the pupil beats the master. Fabio Vieira with a great penalty, and Bukayo Saka, who missed a penalty in that European Championships 2 years ago, down that end, who missed the crucial penalty. Well, he may have just exercised a few of those ghosts today. Brilliant performance, and we'll be heading back to Paul James as soon as the trophy presentation is upon us. Just to remind you of we've got Arsenal's match with Nottingham Forest next weekend, of course, and you'll be able to hear that with Paul James, in fact, and with Luke Turton, who's a big Nottingham Forest supporter. So we'll have them to listen to next week. Let me tell you about some upcoming games on the TCL, because we're going to, as soon as the presentation's wrapped up, we'll be leaving you this evening. It's been a long afternoon, so while we'll wait for the presentations to be done, because they take a long time, because everyone wants everything, interviews and all that sort of stuff. And we'll try and get we'll let you know what's going on then. So obviously Paul James, terrific result. Just remind you that that we've got 2 live matches at 8:30 in the morning tomorrow. England, Nigeria in the Women's World Cup, and then France, Morocco at noon. Both will be commentated on. Russ will have the England game. Nicholas will do the other game at 12 o'clock, the French game. Then on the Friday, on the Saturday at 12:30, Arsenal against Nottingham Forest, our first Premier League live offering of the season. Paul James and Luke Turton are your commentary team for that one next weekend. And then on Sunday, and then next Sunday, I think it is, at 5:30. Oh, it might be the same day, actually. Arsenal and Newcastle kick off their season against Aston Villa. Russell will be doing the commentary on that one. Russ Burnham will be commentating on that one for you. On the Monday night, Manchester United Wolves. Russ will be your main commentator. Nicholas will be alongside him for that one. And then we've got the Women's World Cup third place playoff on next weekend. And that will be with Russ. And then to next week, and then after that, it will be me commentating with Nicholas. Nicholas will be hosting. I will be commentating on my first match of the season, Plymouth against Southampton in the Championship, and then hopefully we'll have Manchester City Newcastle later that same evening at 8 o'clock. We don't know who that's going to be with. There's a few question marks on there. Nicholas will be commentating on the Women's World Cup final on the Sunday. Then later that day, I've got Aston Villa against Everton in the Premier League. And then Paul, after that, has got West Ham and Chelsea. What a game that really does promise to be. Then Chelsea, Luton Town with me, and Bournemouth and Spurs the next afternoon with me also. And then Bournemouth, and then Burnley against Aston Villa at the end of the month. Paul James then after that will be doing Newcastle, Liverpool. So there are all the confirmed games that we've got coming up in August, at least on the TCO. And subject to other things, we'll let you know. We'll let you know what happens. If there's any more extra games, we'll let you know in advance. So there are all the games that are coming up on the TCO and all the broadcast partners in the rest of the month. plenty of live football from both men's and women's games to come very, very in this next month, and then we'll. But so, just to reiterate, I don't even know who got player of the match. To be quite honest, I think it's Saliba who got the man of the match. I'm not sure, but I know Paul gave it to an Arsenal player, and he said it was going to be on the losing side. Well, I'm sure Paul will be glad now. It was the wrong. It turned out to be the winning side, and we're still waiting for the presentation as I talk to you here. Well, there's the penalty again from Vieira. What a penalty that was, and any penalty that can win the game like that has to be applauded. Arsenal, they've showed today, Arsenal, really how from adversity they've come back against a brilliant Manchester City side and they've just absolutely walked away with it. And we're still waiting for the presentations while we're talking to you. But once we brought you the presentation, Paul and I will have a little chat about Burnley's summer and, of course, their chances of going in the Premier League. And at least Declan Rice has won. That's his second major honour he's won this year. He won the Europa Conference League with West Ham at the back end of the year. Now he's won the Community Shield. Obviously not the Arsenal captain, Martin Odegaard is, so he'll have that honour. But medal, Declan Rice came here to win winners' medals. He's won one today. There's no doubt about that. Fantastic performance, really, from him. I thought he had a good game. Arsenal really, I have to make the point that Paul James made during the commentary of the game. I thought Arsenal looked very, very assured at the back and only undone by a moment of pure genius, really, from Cole Palmer. It was a marvellous strike to put City ahead in that game. But Arsenal showed their famous fighting spirit. And even if it deflected on the way through, I think Arsenal probably deserved a share of the spoils, certainly after the 90 minutes, that's for sure, or the 100 minutes or whatever they played this afternoon. But we didn't have a VAR incident. I can't recall a VAR incident, but what I can tell you that we have had penalty shootout, another penalty shootout in the Women's World Cup decided by a millimetre on goal line technology. In fact, that puts the USA, who were the red hot favourites to win the Women's World Cup, that's knocked them out the tournament and gives England a great opportunity now of possibly winning the thing. Terrific. Just remind you, cricket as well. In the cricket, the Oval Invincibles, the Welsh Fire and the Oval Invincibles. This is the men's game. Welsh Fire 43 for 4 after 30 balls. So not looking good. Wells, Zunke, Tom Abel, and Phillips have all gone cheaply. Clark and Willie are out there. Clark not out 17. Willie none. 44 for 4. That's in the 100 cricket. And in fact, let's just give you some cricket scores while we're waiting for the presentation party. Saliba was the man of the match, so I'm being told. We've got some one-day cup results to bring you. Well, the Southern Brave incidentally lost by 60 runs in that other 100 match I was telling you about earlier. They finished on 141 for 5, chasing 202, but they fell short by a good 60 runs there. In the one-day cup, Kent were beaten by 264 runs by Leicestershire, who made nearly 400 runs. They made 380 for 5 on their 50 overs. Kent, in reply, 116 all out, and they didn't even get to half their overs. 23.5, in fact. In the other game, what about that? 299 for 3, Glamorgan. Absolutely stumped a victory over Derbyshire by 7 wickets at Derby today. And did it with a good 3 overs to spare, incidentally. In the rain-affected game down at Northants, they won by 3 wickets against Sussex by the Duckworth-Lewis method. They made 243 for 7 in reply to Sussex's 240 for 7. And Somerset beat Worcestershire by 36 runs. They made 287 for 9 in their 50 overs, Somerset. And then Worcestershire in reply were bowled out for 251. to a terrific win for Somerset down at Taunton by 36 runs. Manchester City now getting their losers' medals. And with that in mind, let's hand back to Paul James for the presentation of the Shield to Arsenal. Paul, it's all yours for now.
Thanks, JB. Yes, the Manchester City team have just been up to collect their medals from the presentation party up there. Arsenal waiting now just to go up. They're starting to go up the stairs now to collect their medals and pick up the 2023 Community Shield. This is a sight that Manchester City are not used to seeing, going up first and collecting the runners-up medals. But today, it's their day to do that. And Arsenal now are being led by their manager, Mikel Arteta, up the long stairs of Wembley to collect this Community Shield. And what a victory on penalties for them today. A last-minute equaliser by Leandro Trossard. And some comments in there by Colin Rofe. Sorry if I pronounced your name wrong there, Colin. Is it Colin Rafe? I'm sorry if I pronounced it wrong. At least Arsenal won some silverware this season. Well, I actually think that looking at this Arsenal team, I think this may not be the only thing that they win this season personally, but that's just my opinion. The rest of the Arsenal team are now following up the stairs. Being at the tail end of that is Aaron Ramsdale, the hero in the penalty shootout. Stopping a penalty and, of course, one hitting the crossbar. Saving Rodri's penalty, which really wasn't the best, it has to be said. So the players now just collecting their medals. There's Declan Rice just giving some high fives to some of the fans. Aaron Ramsdale as well. Ben White and Kieran Tierney. Some of the Arsenal substitutions there. There's Tommy Yasu. And one of the Arsenal goalkeepers. Of course, given the way things are going right now within the goalkeeping department at Arsenal, Matt Turner may be going, maybe on his way to Nottingham Forest. There is some rumours circulating around that. And of course, Steve Cooper will like to get that done at the City Ground, obviously before the opening day. So they're just being handed their medals now. There's Gabriel. Trossard scored one of the penalties. Odegaard there at the back. He scored the first penalty. And they've been handed their medals. Vieira there, of course, he got the winning penalty. A beautiful penalty. It was right into the top right corner. No chance for Stefan Ortega. Saka getting his medals. He put away one of the penalties. Thomas Partey has been outstanding today in the midfield. Martin Odegaard, of course, needless to say that he's had another wonderful game today, and of course scored the first penalty. And so Arsenal there just celebrating. They're waiting to be handed the shield, and they are handed the shield to Martin Odegaard, who's going to bring it to the front of this lineup of Arsenal players to lift the 2023 Community Shield. And there's just a build up to this. And Arsenal lift the 2023 Community Shield. The fans in Wembley Stadium, the Arsenal fans in Wembley Stadium celebrating this victory. An opportunity, a great start to the season for them, that they might go on and win additional silverware. The two goalkeepers now just lifting the shield themselves. And it's been handed to Kai Havertz, who lifts it as well. And what a moment for Arsenal. What a start to the season for them, as the season ended in such disappointment last season. They'd held on to the top spot for so long, but ultimately, in the end, defeat cost over a number of period of games, put Arsenal behind the 8 ball before it was finally confirmed at the City Ground. But what a wonderful, wonderful performance by Arsenal today. They'll be delighted with that, and they can go into the season in very, very buoyant, very buoyant mood. And JB, you can kind of see the Arsenal players celebrating there with the shield. But it's been a wonderful, wonderful day for them. And well, this may be the start of something good for them. This may be the start of them challenging for the title, or maybe winning an FA Cup or a League Cup. I certainly think they've got the players to do it, adding Declan Rice to the squad. But they'll open up against Nottingham Forest at home. Manchester City, on the other hand, well, they will open up in their first game against Burnley on the road. And we'll go back to JB now, as Arsenal are the 2023 Community Shield winners.
Thank you, Paul. Stay with us because I want to get some opinions on Burnley's what Burnley might do this season for 5 minutes, but we'll do that. So great result there for Arsenal. So Paul, let's finish with Burnley, of course. I mean, this is the first time in about 13 years as a Burnley fan. I don't know how you feel about it, but I've never felt so excited about a season with Burnley for a long, long time. How do you feel about it?
Well, I think it's definitely it's been clear cut that when there was the hype when Alan Pace came in about whether or not his way of purchasing the club was the right way of going about it, or whether there was other issues that might have been surrounding that, including debt within the club. But I think Alan Pace has proven himself to be a chairman of his word, an owner of his word. He said he wants European football at Burnley, and I have never seen a Burnley chairman say that in my life, let alone actually try and do it. And I think he's doing it.
It's amazing when you think about it. I mean, it's a statement of intent. And in fact, Cole Palmer, who scored today, is in fact one of the targets that Vincent Kompany's looking at. I mean, do you think we'll get plenty of business done before if not before Manchester City, but before the end of the window? Do you think there's still a few more snags that Vincent Kompany you feel needs to iron out? Certainly in certain positions, namely left wing back and maybe central midfield. Maybe we're lacking a little bit in that.
Yeah, I think there is some areas there that needs addressing. But I think, to be honest with you, the goalkeeping department with what we've got now, we've got an exciting goalkeeping.
Looks excellent.
Yeah, in James Trafford with Muric as well. They've got some backup there as well. And I'm just looking at Burnley's squad for the start of the season, and it's difficult to say. Yeah, left back might be a possible option. And I think probably some goal scoring there, I think maybe lacking at the moment as well. We've got Weghorst back for the start of this season. I think we probably need a goal scorer, a proven goal scorer that we can rely on to get goals. I think this season as well. But aside from that, I think there's certainly some areas that need touching up, but it's exciting. And I think it's a statement of intent by Alan Pace that he wants to bring in players and he wants to build this Burnley team and create a team that's going to compete in European football. It's a very exciting time to be a Burnley fan, that's for sure.
Oh, it certainly is, Paul. Certainly is. Anyway, thank you very much. We've just run out of time, but thank you very much for your contribution today, and brilliant call on both the goals at the end there. Terrific from you. Terrific result for Arsenal. They were trailing for a while against Manchester City, but then they got a leveler, and then, well, you can't get better than 4 out of 4 from the penalties. They take the McDonald's Community Shield home. Don't forget, join Russ Burnin at 8:30 for the England-Nigeria Women's World Cup game, and Nicholas for the French game later tomorrow as well. As the Women's World Cup gathers pace now, and then it's knockout stages. Don't forget to join them both for that if you can. But from us, from Paul and myself, have a fantastic rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you. You'll see Paul next week. You'll hear from Paul next week, and you'll hear from me in 2 weeks' time. But at the end of the day, Arsenal win the first trophy of the season. They've beaten Manchester City 4-1 on penalties after a terrific 1-1 draw today in the FA Community Shield. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye now.